On September 1st, during an event known as the Primal World Manifestation, all players will inherit the abilities of their in-game characters, people who were once powerless in society. Suddenly possessing strength that far surpasses the mundane hierarchies of power, they create an upside-down world. Fueled by money, power, and bottomless greed, the world descends into chaos. At that time, Liu Yi made a critical mistake by only playing for relaxation. Consequently, when the primal world truly manifested, Liu Yi was left powerless and was ultimately squashed like a cockroach. At that very moment, Liu Yi was fortunate enough to be reborn to a time before the primal world's advent. Time ticked away relentlessly. It was now 7:59 p.m. on July 27th, and the primal world was about to officially launch its servers. Liu Yi adjusted his glasses, preparing to enter the game. In just 34 days, the primal world would manifest in reality. Time was running out, and Liu Yi knew that if he wanted to stand at the pinnacle, everything had to begin right now. Liu Yi's first goal wasn't fame or fortune, but power. The countdown finished. Liu Yi successfully entered the game. Looking at the scene before him, which was realistic down to the smallest detail, he knew he had to act immediately. Everyone would be rushing to level up, but no one knew where to go. Amidst the chattering crowd, most were only mentioning basic experiences, but Liu Yi, having been reborn, knew everything. Power is the most mysterious and potent force a player can wield. It's the very thing that separates elite players from the average ones. Instead of wasting time on trivial matters, Liu Yi decided to head straight for the weapons training grounds. In the Primal World's system, there was no concept of character classes, only distinctions based on the weapons used. The most important thing was to find a suitable weapon and reach 100% proficiency, because that was the key to obtaining power. The weapons training grounds was a vast, fully equipped area for practicing every type of weapon. Liu Yi decided to start with the weapon he liked most, a saber. Even though he didn't know which weapon was the most suitable for him, he was prepared to try every single one. After 5 grueling hours of practice, a notification chimed. Saber proficiency had reached 100%. But Liu Yi suddenly realized nothing else happened. It seemed he wasn't suited to using a saber. Liu Yi immediately switched to a sword. Outside the weapons training grounds, a man and a woman were talking about their incredible experiences in the primal world. The hyper-realistic extreme movements are just insane, and the sensory stimulation is so real it's hard to stop. And this is all stuff that low-level players can experience. I wonder what kind of high-level experiences we can unlock. As they spoke, the two wondered where they were. The guy guessed, this must be the weapons training grounds. It's huge inside, but there's only that one guy, Liu Yi, training so diligently. They tried using a few weapons themselves, but quickly grew bored. Besides a notification that weapon proficiency is increasing, nothing else happens. And with this weapon we're trying, you'd have to swing it 10,000 times to reach 100%. The two of them gave up on weapons, deciding that leveling up was the most important thing right now, and left. Liu Yi remained, continuing to train. On the first day, he completely mastered the saber, sword, and pike, but still didn't obtain power. On the second day, it was the spear, hammer, and shield's turn. He maxed out their proficiency, but the result was still the same. On the third day, a group of people walked by, discussing their levels. Someone was already level 20 or 21. Liu Yi realized that most players had already reached level 20. While he not only had no levels, he still hadn't obtained power. He began to panic, wondering if he should just give up and go level up first. But Liu Yi decided to keep searching for power. To become the strongest, he absolutely had to have it. Power was the foundation of everything. Day 3. The two players from the other day returned to the training grounds, chatting as they walked. Oh my God! The death penalty in the primal world is way too harsh. Our levels completely reset to 0. All that grinding we did for the last 2 days was a complete waste. As they walked in, they were surprised to see Liu Yi was still there. He was still relentlessly practicing with all sorts of weapons. Even combat, adventuring, duels, or raiding hidden dungeons is more fun than just training with weapons. They had no idea what Liu Yi was trying to accomplish. Or maybe there's some kind of secret to it? Maybe we should try maxing out a weapons proficiency too? The girl suggested. But Liu Yi has been here for 3 days already. He's still in his starter gear. Even if there's a secret, the time it takes to get strong is way too long. Most players have already reached level 20 by now. Think how powerful they must be. How could he possibly compare to them now? Even if I just randomly grabbed a weapon and swung it, I could probably shatter that training dummy. But him? A single strike of his doesn't even leave a scratch. With that, the girl left. The guy still wanted to give it a shot, but she stopped him. We'd be better off spending this time leveling up. That's what's most important right now. Day 4 passed, then day 5. Liu Yi had mastered 18 types of weapons. After mastering them all, he earned the title of Weapon Master. A Weapon Master can freely utilize the form and characteristics of any weapon at will. But even with that, he still hadn't obtained power. Unless the weapon that's right for me is a firearm. This thought gave Liu Yi pause. Before he was reborn, no one had ever said that firearms could grant power. Perhaps it was because the players before were never high level enough to discover it, or maybe it was a secret known only to the top tiers. With that thought, Liu Yi headed to the firearms training room. Liu Yi thought to himself, it's already been 5 days. Most players are probably level 30 by now, and there are so many different types of firearms in here. If I master all of this, the origin world might as well descend upon reality. He muttered to himself, do I still want to keep going? But thinking back on his past, Liu Yi knew he couldn't give up. Without power, he could never become the top player. He'd just end up on the same old path, getting killed by others before his rebirth. With that thought, Liu Yi started practicing with the handgun. Gunshots rang out one after another, and with each one, a notification announced a tiny, minuscule increase in his handgun proficiency. The girl from before returned to the weapon training room to check. Is Liu Yi still there? The room was empty. She thought he had already left. Just then, a gunshot echoed, making her curious. She stepped into the firearms training room and saw Liu Yi glowing with a blue light. A notification rang out. Handgun proficiency has reached 100%. Liu Yi successfully comprehended life force. The intelligence attribute and cognitive force now have a 1-to-1 conversion rate. Current cognitive force, 4 out of 5. He finally had his own power, and with it, a sliver of security for the upcoming event. Next, it was time for him to level up and catch up to the main player base. Suddenly, Liu Yi turned and saw a girl standing at the door, whistling and pretending not to notice. Liu Yi walked closer and brushed past her. The girl blushed, screaming internally. Wei Xinyi, what are you so nervous about? Just open your mouth and ask what that was all about. But she didn't dare to ask, so she could only try to figure it out herself. Meanwhile, Liu Yi needed to go to the equipment shop to buy a gun and ammo. He also had to prepare a melee weapon, just in case. On the way, 2 young men were discussing how Origin World had already broken through 10 million online players so quickly. It's only been a few days. Can Origin World even supply enough virtual reality devices? The entire first batch of pre-orders has been delivered. The second batch will probably take another 2 days. Meanwhile, Liu Yi was buying his gear. Low-grade white-tier handgun, 500. 3 boxes of regular ammo, 300. Low-grade white-tier short knife, 200. Total, 1,000. Hearing the price, Liu Yi's head spun. God, this is way too expensive. Origin coins are the in-game currency, with a 1-to-1 exchange rate to real money. This is basically 1,000 real RMB. This game's starter equipment isn't even free. They sell it for 1,000 RMB. Origin World is such a damn ripoff. That said, a weapon master can utilize any weapon model with any weapon characteristic. With this title, Liu Yi could break the restriction that force can only be used with a suitable weapon. At the Secret Realm Company, a recorded secret realm is a personal scenario that a player pays to upload, providing a challenge for other players. A victorious challenger will receive the entire prize pool of Origin coins from that unique secret realm, along with experience points corresponding to the amount of Origin coins. If the challenge is failed, the challenge fee is added to the prize pool. The larger the prize pool, the higher the mirror image's ranking on the leaderboard. Currently on the mirror image leaderboard, ranked number 1, with a prize pool of 432,369, is the player Like Thunder Filling the Sky, level 30, from the New Order Guild. Ranked number 2, with a prize pool of 334,798, is the player Here Comes the Bad Guy, level 30, New Order Guild. Ranked number 3, with a prize pool of 241,235, is the player Kindergarten Boss, level 30, from the Sanctuary Guild. There are 2 conditions for challenging a secret realm. First, the challenger's level must be at least 5 levels lower than the mirror image being challenged. Second, pay 10% of the prize pool as the challenge fee. Liu Yi thought to himself, I'm only level 1, but I have force. I can challenge someone far above my level. This is the perfect place for me. Just as he was thinking that, someone came out sighing. Failed again. The difficulty of that scenario is insane. Not only did I not get any money, but all the levels I worked so hard for, after failing the challenge, they were reset directly to level 1. Another person comforted him. That's still not so bad. If you die in a collapsed secret realm, not only your level, but your equipment gets reset to 0 too. The two of them sat down on a bench, looking dejected. Seeing Liu Yi approach, one of them judged, Jiang Zi, look, another level 1 player coming to challenge a mirror image, and he's even using a handgun as his weapon. Firearms are the least popular weapons in Origin World. Jiang Zi saw that he didn't even have a full set of gear and was clearly a new player wanting to experience the mirror image secret realm. These types of people basically end up losing their entire challenge fee and then scram. Not the person we're looking for. Meanwhile, Liu Yi was carefully selecting an opponent. A notification popped up, asking, select the player This World Isn't Gentle's mirror image as your opponent? Liu Yi pondered. So I have to choose a combat mode to level up. He thought back to his past, how he was ridiculed in reality. He was someone who was afraid of fighting, and even in the game he was still scared. There were people who had hit him, teased him, and made a fool of him. Thinking of this, Liu Yi's hands clenched into fists. He was determined to be different this time, to conquer this challenge, and overcome his own fear. A notification sounded. Deducting 100 Origin coins for the challenge fee, transmission process initiated, challenge timer countdown begins. Liu Yi arrived at the challenge location for This World Isn't Gentle. A notification appeared. Level 5. Weapon, saber. Equipment, newbie jacket. Liu Yi felt a little nervous. This was the first time he had ever actively fought someone else. His legs began to tremble. He slapped his thighs, trying to calm himself. The challenge began. His opponent swung his saber, attacking Liu Yi first. It startled him, and he dodged, firing back with a single shot. However, his opponent immediately knocked the gun out of his hand. Luckily, he still had the knife on him to block the next blow. Liu Yi felt a strange sense of unease. He couldn't understand why he didn't dare to fight with all his strength. Even though heaven had granted him a second chance through rebirth, fear was still holding him back. Liu Yi had no choice but to use his Weapon Master title. With the short knife's conversion characteristic, he regained his confidence. He unleashed his skill, filling the short knife with life force and lunging straight at his opponent. The enemy's saber broke in two and then vanished, while Liu Yi stood firm, looking ahead with new determination. As expected, the Weapon Master title could make him break through the limitation. It was just that the added attack power was only half of the handgun's. Notification: congratulations, Liu Yi, for defeating This World Isn't Gentle. Gained 1,000 primal coins and 1,000 experience points. A series of notifications announced his continuous level-ups. Liu Yi cursed, unable to believe he had won, but he was still trembling. In the Secret Realm's main hall, Zhang Shi and his teammate were searching for clues. The challenge mechanics here were just too strict. This made success nearly impossible for average players. For the most part, only members of large guilds could pass. So, Zhang Shi persisted in finding a way to beat the challenge. As they were still discussing, Liu Yi suddenly appeared. His companion recognized Liu Yi and was stunned to learn he had already challenged it. He succeeded with almost no gear. Liu Yi still defeated a mirror image 5 levels above him, something they found hard to believe. Zhang Shi said urgently, "That's him! Quick, get the funds from the back garden!" After discussing, Zhang Shi and his companion got the funds and decided to lock onto Liu Yi to see which mirror image he would choose and open a betting pool. At his current level, Liu Yi had reached level 5 with over 500 experience points, and his other attributes had grown significantly. He continued to search for another mirror image to challenge. Zhang Shi and his companion couldn't help but be curious, and quickly prepared to see who Liu Yi would choose as his next opponent. But when they saw his choice, they couldn't believe their eyes. Zhang Shi rubbed his eyes. "I must be seeing things." "You're not wrong, Zhang Shi." Liu Yi chose Rulei Dengchong, a level 11 mirror image, one of the strongest and hardest to defeat among the level 10 opponents. Zhang Shi slumped to the ground, feeling completely drained of strength. He was completely devastated, unable to understand why Liu Yi would choose such a difficult opponent. The young man with him clutched his head and stammered, Are we still opening the betting pool? Crying, Jiangxi replied, We've already started, so we have to see it through. We have no choice but to open it. But he absolutely couldn't let anyone know about this. Otherwise, it would affect their betting money. At the Primal World betting table, news of the match between Liu Yi and Rulei Dengchang spread quickly. Everyone was buzzing with discussion. They endlessly asked about the person who dared to challenge the strongest level 10 mirror image, one acknowledged as unbeatable. Some people mocked Liu Yi, thinking he was just a newbie, carrying a white-grade weapon with no other gear, yet he dared to challenge an opponent as powerful as Rulei. Meanwhile, Jiangxi and his companion were crying their eyes out over this match. The betting pool had reached 200,000, and all of it was placed on Rulei to win. Jiangxi couldn't stop crying, rubbing his eyes and biting his shirt, unable to accept Liu Yi's decision. But even if they wanted to change it, they couldn't. The betting was open, and they could only watch. In the challenge space, the two players, Rulei Dengchang, level 10, Gai with a saber and the tenacity combo, and Liu Yi appeared. The challenge countdown began. As soon as it started, Liu Yi took a short knife and stabbed himself in the thigh. Blood flowed from his thigh down his leg, which seemed to calm him. The fight was incredibly intense. The force of their power created powerful shockwaves, cracking everything around them. Once again, Liu Yi's gun was knocked away, but he wasn't scared at all. Rulei continued his assault with a powerful slash. Liu Yi quickly used his ultimate skill, Power of Concealment, his short knife striking as he swiftly slipped past his opponent to counterattack. At this moment, Liu Yi realized that he had chosen an opponent who was too strong, almost impossible to defeat. He blamed himself for not thinking it through, but he couldn't give up. He had to fight. He couldn't let fear stop him. With a surge of determination, Liu Yi launched a powerful blow at his opponent, quickly dodging attacks and retrieving his gun to continue the fight. Every shot, every attack forced his opponent to retreat. An announcement rang out. Liu Yi's cognitive force had reached its maximum, once again breaking him out of the desperate situation he faced. The final shot made Rulei's head disappear in an instant. Meanwhile, Liu Yi had also exhausted his HP and cognitive force. After defeating Rulei Dengchang, Liu Yi received a reward of 15,768 primal coins and 15,768 experience points. He also reached level 13 at the same time, with his attributes growing significantly. After the match, a series of new announcements rang out, and Liu Yi was given the option to upgrade a skill. With the skill at level 10, he could choose between Vitality, Recovery, and Vitality Invasion. Each option had its own advantages, helping Liu Yi become stronger in future battles. Vitality, Recovery, heals the target for a certain amount of health. The healing ratio is 1 point of cognitive force for 100 health points. For each level upgraded, 1 point of cognitive force restores an additional 10 health points. Every 10 levels upgraded, the number of people who can be healed increases by 1. Vitality. Invasion. Causes the opponent to take 25 points of damage per second for 10 seconds, consuming 1 point of cognitive force. For each level upgraded, each point of cognitive force can deal an additional 10 damage. Every 10 levels upgraded, the number of targets that can be attacked increases by 1. Outside, Jiangxi and his companion were surrounded by a crowd. They were demanding their betting money back because they were certain Liu Yi would lose the match against Rulei Dengchang. Don't think you can solve this by force quitting. If you dare to log out of the game, I'll use the personal information you left in the back garden to find you in the real world. Jiangxi panicked. He clutched his head and asked the crowd if he could surrender and lose half to minimize the damage. Someone in the crowd confidently replied that Rulei Dengchang would definitely win. So there's no way you can surrender. Jiangxi still couldn't understand how they could be so certain. So what about it? Are you trying to tell me that Rulei is going to lose? If the mirror image Rulei loses, I'll do a handstand and eat crap. Just as he finished speaking, the announcement of Liu Yi's victory rang out, leaving the crowd that had bet on Rulei completely petrified. Their mouths hung open. Jiangxi stood up boldly, no longer acting meek. Who was it just now that said they'd do a handstand and eat crap? Meanwhile, Liu Yi had already left the challenge space, and the skill panel appeared in front of him. Just then, back in the real world, Liu Yi's little sister called for him to come eat. Today, we're having your favorite stir-fried winter bamboo shoots with meat. Liu Yi sat down at the table. While his sister was busy setting out the food, he was thinking about the two skills he had chosen, one for healing and one for offense. He weighed the two options. One was Vitality Restoration, which healed wounds and increased health. The other was Vitality Penetration, which increased damage dealt to opponents. 1 point in Psyche could boost attack power by 50 points. Although Vitality Penetration momentarily reduces attack by 25 points, the total bonus adds up to around 250 points. As for Vitality Restoration, its healing would be crucial after the Origin Realm descends upon reality. In the real world, this skill could heal injuries and any infections they might cause. If that's possible, it'll be the most sought-after skill in the future. Besides, later on, when we reach the collapse scenarios above the dangerous level, a healing skill will be absolutely essential. It'll make it easier to find a party. He put down his chopsticks, deciding not to eat anymore, which surprised his little sister. After all, he usually ate 3 times this much. So she immediately started scheming to find herself a sister-in-law because she felt that leaving her brother with too much free time was truly dangerous. Meanwhile, over with Jiang Zi, a man in the crowd was hugging his leg, crying and begging for half his money back. He wailed that it was all he had, and without it, he wouldn't be able to survive. Jiang Zi sneered, trying to kick him off. If you had agreed to surrender for half your bet earlier, you might have actually made a profit. But what was your choice? Jiang Zi was about to continue when someone suddenly punched him right in the face. The loss of the level 10 Asura mirror image was being dealt with. How do you plan to compensate us? The person in charge of the mirror image space from the New Order Guild, Chicken Master, had arrived to sort things out. Terrified, Jiang Zi explained that Liu Yi wasn't one of his people and had just opened a game. I had no idea Liu Yi would choose to challenge the Asura mirror image, Chicken Master thought angrily, believing the one who profited most was Jiang Zi. He thought he could just push the blame away, but they still needed to have a little chat in the real world. Terrified, Jiang Zi begged for mercy and offered to give all the money he'd earned to Chicken Master. But Chicken Master said it wasn't necessary, his expression incredibly dangerous. I just need you to help me with a few small things. You can help me, can't you? Meanwhile, Liu Yi had returned to the game. He immediately chose the Vitality Restoration skill. Overall combat power assessment, plus 10. Checking player's stats. Combat power has exceeded 10. Combat power system unlocked. Calculation complete. Liu Yi's combat power was 15.6. Title acquired. Low-rank warrior. Low-rank warrior grants a weight of +1 to all attributes. Liu Yi thought to himself that this was a reward that should only appear when a single attribute surpassed 100. Not only did he get it right after obtaining the low-rank warrior title, but it was also a +1 weight to all attributes. This meant that even though he was only level 13, his effective stats were equivalent to a level 26 player. With that thought, Liu Yi looked at the leaderboard. He saw the player in 6th place, with a prize pool of 152,475, was a level 20 player named Asura Deng Chang. Liu Yi wondered if he could take this person on with his current strength. He felt it would be a significant challenge, but also a good opportunity to test his own power after his considerable improvement. Without hesitation, Liu Yi decided to choose Asura Deng Chang as his next opponent, considering it a true test of his strength. In the Origin Realms chat, everyone was buzzing about the unbelievable victory of Liu Yi, who had defeated the level 10 Asura mirror image. The sight had made more than a few people doubt their own eyes. After all, who would have expected a level 5 player like Liu Yi to be able to pull something like that off? Some people who had bet big on Asura now could only leave in disappointment, completely broke. When the next match was announced, level 13 Liu Yi versus level 20 Asura Deng Chang, everyone was curious about who was behind this decision. One curious person in the group revealed that it was the person in charge of the mirror image space from the New Order, who had also placed a bet of 300,000 on Liu Yi to win. Everyone began to wait for the result, all of them filled with anticipation. At the entrance to the mirror image space, Jiang Zi and his companion were also worried, endlessly. Jiang Zi, Chicken Master only told you to promote the match, not to bet on it. Why did you place another bet? And you bet everything on him! Although Jiang Zi was a bit scared, he still acted confident that Liu Yi would win. He reasoned that if Chicken Master wanted to influence him, he couldn't use his power within the New Order to do it, so there's no need to worry. Chicken Master wants to promote this, so everyone bets all their money on Liu Yi. Jiang Zi knew that, generally speaking, this was not a good thing. Inside the challenge space, the countdown had begun. When the match started, Asura Deng Chang, with his handsome appearance, dual blades, and advanced light armor, appeared to be a very powerful opponent. Liu Yi, with his short knife, gun, and novice gear, was at a clear disadvantage in terms of equipment and experience. He calculated his psyche very carefully, and knew that if he could just get one chance to land a critical hit, victory would be in his hands. As soon as the match began, Liu Yi immediately opened fire, aiming for his opponent's head. But Asura managed to block in time and counterattacked with powerful slashes. The continuous sound of gunfire filled the air, making the atmosphere tense. Liu Yi could feel the increase in his attribute weight, and knew he was no longer being suppressed like before. He smugly thought that he had gotten much stronger. Suddenly, Asura spoke. "A low-level player like you dares to fight me?" Liu Yi was suddenly struck with fear and backed away. The feeling sent him into a panic. It was as if he were facing an enemy from his past. His legs began to tremble again. Liu Yi wondered if he had the courage to keep fighting. After a moment of confusion, Liu Yi realized that if he didn't dare to move forward, he would never be able to grow. He decided to act quickly, locking his opponent in a chokehold, pressing the gun to his head, and affirming that he had grown. A final gunshot ended the match. Level 20. Asura Deng Chang has been eliminated. This time, Liu Yi received 152,478 origin coins and an additional 152,478 experience points, followed by a series of level-up notifications. Notification: Level 20 requirement met. Vitality skill tree unlocked at level 20. At that moment, Liu Yi left the challenge area, certain that he had not only grown, but was now ahead of the other players. In the betting hall, crowds of players were screaming at how awesome Liu Yi was. "It's hard to believe. This guy is going to be a god of wealth. We have to put him on a pedestal." So many guys are crying because they didn't bet on him earlier. Now they want to place another bet, but they don't have a single coin left. At this moment, Zhang's companion realized something important. Chicken Shop did this on purpose, to convince everyone to bet on Liu Yi. After defeating the level 20 New Loi, Liu Yi could reach level 22 or 23 and get a chance to challenge the level 30 mirror image. The match against the level 30 mirror image would definitely be difficult, but if he could win, the rewards would be immense. But Zhang Zi wondered, how could Chicken Shop guarantee that the level 30 New Loi could actually defeat Liu Yi? But if that's the case, wouldn't Liu Yi's next challenge against the level 30 New Loi be incredibly dangerous? And just as they thought, Liu Yi went to challenge the level 30 mirror image, just as Chicken Shop had calculated. He felt that he had not only grown, but was also several steps ahead of everyone else. If the previous battle couldn't prove it, then he would use this to showcase his talent, challenging the level 30 mirror image, the undefeated champion of the world. Any master who dared to challenge it was sent back to square one. The title of undefeated wasn't just for show. It was said that the New Order Guild even managed to clear the world game because of this mirror image. And now Liu Yi had confirmed to start the battle. Chicken Shop smugly opened the betting tables to make some money. Zhang Zi got swept up in the moment, but he bet on Liu Yi, causing his friend to clutch his head in despair. "Why did you bet again? This is obviously a trap." On the battlefield, the level 30 New Loi stood imposingly with his blade and a full set of armor, while Liu Yi was just wearing normal clothes with a starter combo. As soon as the challenge began, New Loi unleashed an attack so fast that Liu Yi couldn't even react. His entire health bar dropped like a rock. He quickly regained his composure and recovered his strength. After pushing New Loi back, Liu Yi took out his gun and fired a continuous barrage. New Loi dodged every single shot, then swiftly lunged forward, swinging his blade. Liu Yi crossed his arms to block, but his recovery speed couldn't keep up with the damage he was taking. He was knocked back and had to roll across the ground to dodge the next slash. He leaped far back to create some distance, trying to think of a counter-strategy. Level 30 is really on another level. Even though I increased my authority, I'm still being completely suppressed. However, if this is all the strength New Loi has, then I'm guaranteed to win. At that moment, Liu Yi learned a new skill, Blessing. It enhances the target's attributes and randomly removes one abnormal status effect from the target. If I can't compete in terms of level, then I'll use all my attributes to make up for it. It consumes 400 perception points, but all attributes are increased by 200 for 1 minute. Liu Yi's entire body radiated a completely different power. His eyes were like those of a hungry tiger as he lunged towards New Loi. I have to take him down within this 1 minute. It's not for nothing that Nuloy, the level 30 challenger, is called undefeated. It's because he has been pushed to the absolute limit for a level 30 player. It's impossible for anyone below that level to defeat him. If someone actually could win, it would mean that person. It at least has the strongest potential and an invincible physique. Back in the fight, Nuloy was still dodging every bullet, but this time, he couldn't evade the last one. After taking a bullet straight to the chest, Nuloy lost all ability to resist and was hit by several more shots, riddling his body with holes like a beehive. He ground his teeth in anger. Suddenly, his entire body recovered as if nothing had happened. Liu Yi finally understood why no one could ever win. His attributes are way beyond his level, and on top of that, when he's about to die, he has a passive skill that makes him immune to death. Who the hell could possibly win against that? Unless you can crush him with absolute overwhelming power, there's no chance of winning. Both sides were back to where they started. Now it was a race to see whether Liu Yi's blessing or his death immunity timer would run out first. He raised his gun and fired relentlessly. The blessing countdown showed half a minute left. Liu Yi couldn't lose, not for the reward, but to overcome his past self. He would say goodbye to the insecure person who couldn't grasp his own destiny and become stronger and stronger. In the final seconds, a bullet lodged itself in Nuloy's head. It seemed that was his weak spot, because in an instant, he collapsed to the ground. At that moment, Liu Yi remembered his past life when he heard about the strongest potential and invincible constitution. Back then, those two things had absolutely nothing to do with him. He thought that the people who possessed them and him were from different worlds. He's up there and we're down here. But now, Liu Yi no longer thought that way. The challenge ended. He received over 400,000 experience points and currency, and his combat power increased significantly. Chicken Shop crushed the soda cup in his hand, unable to believe his eyes. Suddenly, his gaze shifted up, then down, full of calculation. His face returned to a calm expression, but it hid a dangerous intent. Meanwhile, Zhangzi had won big again. He couldn't help but admire his own eye for talent. His friend urgently told him to log out and pack up just in case they got tracked down for ransom money. Meanwhile, at Liu Yi's real-world home, his younger sister's voice called out, "Are you hungry? Do you want me to make you a bowl of noodles?" Liu Yi was in a great mood today and invited his sister out for barbecue. She was half skeptical about him earning money from a game, but after days of eating instant noodles, she quickly got on board with the idea of barbecue. Today, Liu Yi was browsing an online sale, but the items wouldn't arrive for another 2 months. The original world was set to merge with reality in just 24 days. He couldn't wait that long, and the local shops had no stock. Does this mean fate has decided I can't obtain the status of a player? Well, if that's the case, all I can do is keep trying my best. At that time, his sister, Liu Yun, was out for a walk with her best friend, Huang Nianchu. They were turning so many heads that people probably thought they were long-legged supermodels on a photo shoot. Nianchu was curious why Liu Yun had asked her out today. Meanwhile, Liu Yun was lost in thought, trying to figure out how to introduce her best friend to her brother. She had the looks, the family background, and a personality that was several times better than her own. Liu Yun thought about it and gave a silly smile. "Oh, it's nothing. I just missed you and wanted to go for a walk. So, have you been busy lately? I haven't seen you active in the scouting Liu Yun and praying Nianchu stays single for him group in a while." Nianchu sighed when Liu Yun brought this up. She yelled in frustration, "My family is forcing me to play this online game." After hearing that, Liu Yun was so stunned he didn't know if he should still try to set her up with his brother. Meanwhile, at Ga's karaoke bar, in the real world, Ga was furious, taking his anger out on a girl. "Do I need you to comfort me? Who the hell are you to pity me?" he said, kicking the girl hard. The onlookers were upset, but no one dared to intervene because saying even half a word would get them yelled at by him. "What are you waiters mumbling about over there?" The young men immediately turned and fled. After venting, Ga let out a breath. Just then, his phone rang. He answered and asked the person on the other end, "Did you find the address yet?" Unexpectedly, as soon as he heard the answer, he started screaming again. "Not yet? Damn it, you took my money? Don't you know how to do your job?" The person on the other end lowered their voice and told him to hear them out. After they explained, Ga asked again, "Are you sure we can get his address the way you described?" "Absolutely, no problem." Hearing this, Ga agreed. As long as they could find Liu Yi's real-life identity, he wouldn't short them a single cent. Meanwhile, Liu Yi had already entered the mirror dungeon. The highest level mirror dungeon was only level 30. At his current level, there were no more mirror dungeons for him to challenge. To continue leveling up, Liu Yi could only go through this collapsed dungeon. As he was walking, he suddenly remembered that all his gear was crap. He needed to at least upgrade it to look half decent. Liu Yi went to the equipment vendor and crafting station. The lowest price was 5,000 NDT. He stared at the price, his face fell, and he walked away. Liu Yi already knew the weakness of leveling in the mirror dungeon. You couldn't get dungeon essence to craft gear. If he leveled up to 28 through the collapsed dungeon, he would get dungeon essence. It would be enough to craft a level 20 blue gear set. Although he had enough money to buy a level 20 set, Liu Yi wasn't rich. Not to mention he needed money for his real-life expenses. First things first, he had to go to the collapsed dungeon and find a party to level up. In the plaza, countless players were looking for teammates. The remaining 3 guilds of the New Order were still challenging the Chaos Zone. A level 40, 10-person difficulty run failed, so the entire team's level was reset to 0. They lost all their gear, too. In an instant, they went from being the top team in the Origin Realm back to the starting point. It was a disaster. Some people heard it was because one of the members got the Desperate Straits achievement, so he killed everyone else on the team. After all, the reward was 10 times the normal amount. Who wouldn't be ambitious? The party models here included 5-person, 10-person, and unlimited. Once you entered a collapsed dungeon, the only way out was to win. Otherwise, you would die. And death in the Origin Realm meant returning to the starting point. That's why selecting party members and choosing the difficulty for each collapsed dungeon had to be done with extreme care. With Liu Yi's current strength, he was strong enough for a level 30, 10-person dungeon. Based on that, he decided to go down a level and look for a level 25, 10-person party, or a level 30, 5-person dungeon. But to his surprise, Liu Yi was rejected everywhere he went. If it wasn't because they needed level 30s, it was because his gear was too poor. The most ridiculous reason was a party that didn't accept outsiders, only blood relatives. After being rejected for half a day, Liu Yi held his head in frustration. I defeated a mirror dungeon master like Lei at level 30. Don't judge me by my gear and level, he sighed dejectedly. Did he really have to start from the lowest level dungeons just to get some gear before he could enter a high level one? Just as Liu Yi was accepting his fate, someone proactively invited him. Our team is short one person. You want to join? Ga put on a friendly expression, wanting to form a 10-person party with Liu Yi to enter the level 35 danger zone. For some reason, Liu Yi found him very familiar, but he couldn't quite place him. Seeing him just standing there, Ga pretended to turn away. You don't want to? Fine, I'll find someone else. No, I'll join. Liu Yi scratched his head and followed him. The entrance to this level 35, 10-person difficulty danger zone was outside Void Tomb City, located in the middle of Void Tomb Mountain. If you were poor, you had to walk to the entrance. If you were rich, you could teleport there directly through the collapsed dungeon gate, like Liu Yi's current party. When the others saw that Ga had found him, they looked openly displeased. We told you to just find anyone, but you were a little too random. You actually found a newbie who uses a firearm. Liu Yi was dazzled as he observed their gear, which was all glowing purple. This meant at least half of their equipment was grade A unmarked gear. Liu Yi wanted to get his hands on awesome stuff like that too. A young man leading the group signaled, "We have enough people, let's go. I want to hit level 40 today." A bald guy ran up and put his arm around the leader's shoulder, pleading, "If you hit level 40, you'll have to change all your gear, right? How about you give me a few pieces? Sure? You give me your secondary weapon, and you can take any 3 pieces of my gear." The group walked off, leaving the poor kid Liu Yi behind. Every one of them had a cunning smile on their face. Inside, it was a defense-type dungeon. Ga immediately signaled for the group to surround the protection crystal and set up a defensive formation. If anyone lets a living monster get near the crystal, if someone causes the completion rate to drop, they have to compensate for the damage. Liu Yi silently assessed the situation. The portal was closing, and their mission was to protect the 3 crystals. Dark energy completion rate, 100%. If the completion rate drops to 0%, the mission is an instant failure. Liu Yi's sharp ears twitched as he heard a strange sound. The monsters are here. He looked up into the distance where the sky and earth were shrouded in dust. A swarm of large, aggressive insects charged towards them, surrounding them. The bald guy scoffed and said to Liu Yi, "Hey newbie, stand a little closer to the crystal. Be careful not to get killed by the monsters." He wielded a double-headed axe, powerfully cleaving through 3 of them. The others took down just as many monsters. Their coordination was seamless, proof that they had been working together for a long time. While fighting monsters, Ga Quan glanced at the guy with the red sword and gave him some kind of signal. That guy then intentionally dodged a monster, letting it charge straight for Liu Yi. At that moment, Liu Yi was still busy analyzing the team. Though their teamwork was excellent, their individual skill levels were just average. Just then, he drew his blade and killed the monster with a single clean slash, not letting it get near the crystal. The first wave of the attack was over. The second wave will begin in 10 minutes. The swarm of monsters was teleported away. As for those guys, they gathered around and praised Liu Yi. Didn't realize you were such an expert, taking out a monster 10 levels higher than you while wearing starter gear. The red-haired guy then pretended to hold his face and sigh. If Xiao Dian hadn't suddenly disappeared, leaving a hole in our defense, I wouldn't have slipped up. The bald guy immediately suggested that Liu Yi join them in their defensive formation. That way, they could complete the mission without any gaps. Someone even wanted to invite him to replace the guy named Xiao Dian. How about becoming a permanent member, bro? What do you think? If you join us, you'll save time looking for a team for future dungeons. Once we get our teamwork down, we can even challenge high-level dungeons. Liu Yi looked overjoyed. The lackeys turned to ask for Ga Quan's opinion. He put on a benevolent smile. All right, but if you want to join our team, is why you need to provide a real phone number and address for contact. This is also to prevent a situation like what happened with Xiao Dian. He sighed. It took so much effort to build up his gear and our synergy. And in the end, Xiao Dian just vanished, leaving the team vulnerable. If you join, I hope you can understand our position. Liu Yi fell into deep thought. Seeing this, they glanced at each other and smirked. Just wait till you walk into our trap. But who would have thought? Liu Yi spoke up. So this is the real reason you invited me to the team, huh? There were so many people in the plaza, yet they chose only him. After entering the dungeon, they went out of their way to show off their friendly brotherhood and strength to make Liu Yi admire them. Finally, they revealed a supposed problem with the team, let a monster through for him to show off his skills, and then used that as a pretext to invite him to join, which would then make it easy for them to trick him into giving up his real information. What a sophisticated and heartwarming plan. Liu Yi now remembered that Ga Quan was the person in charge of the space mirror images in the New Order Guild. Other players had told stories about a player who defeated a level 20 ley-like mirror image, was tricked by him into giving up his real address, and was then kidnapped to work in a karaoke bar never to be released. And Liu Yi had defeated a level 30 ley-like image. No wonder he had caught Ga Quan's eye. That's why he went to all this trouble to stage this play about brotherly camaraderie, all to get his real-life address. The men exchanged glances, ready to make a move, but Ga Quan remained incredibly calm. How can this be? Is it possible you've misunderstood something? Liu Yi drew his gun, no longer wanting to play along with his act. I haven't misunderstood anything. I just pretended to go along with you into the dungeon to see what you were really up to. But now that I know your true purpose, I have no more interest in acting, because you are enemies, and enemies must be dealt with immediately. He strode angrily in front of Liu Yi, his eyes wide, projecting an overwhelming aura. His lackeys also closed in on him. You think you can take on all 9 of us right here? The big guy with the broadsword charged first. Liu Yi just stood still and consumed 30 points of consciousness power. The brute's head immediately flew off in a spray of blood. The remaining 8 stared at each other in horrified slow motion. How is that possible? In just a split second from that big guy's body, a blue loot orb appeared. This item only appears after killing a player and can randomly pull one piece of equipment from the opponent's body. Liu Yi happened to be in need of equipment. With 9 loot orbs being served up to him, how could he possibly let them go to waste? Ga Quan gritted his teeth and ordered the whole group to swarm Liu Yi, but he wanted to end this quickly, so he decided to activate the all-attribute blessing. If he had a choice, Liu Yi never wanted to kill any player. It was no different from robbing them of their ability to survive in this apocalypse. But in times like these, he had no choice. If his sister Liu Yun didn't have player powers, then his current strength wasn't enough to protect her. Therefore, Liu Yi could not afford to make any mistakes. Besides fighting for every chance to get stronger every second, he also had to crush any enemy that could potentially kill him while they were still weak. That Ga Quan guy had been acting high and mighty for a long time, because he had powerful backing in the real world, and in the game he was a top-tier player. But so what? Liu Yi would step on his corpse and the corpses of his cronies to climb to the top. Ga Quan now watched as several of his underlings were sent to their deaths. He stood frozen on the spot, not understanding where his logic had gone wrong. In terms of gear and level, they were all superior to him, yet they couldn't win. He gritted his teeth and threatened, "Not bad. No wonder you could defeat the level 30 lay-like mirror image. But you better think carefully. If we lose any more people, we won't be able to clear this dungeon." "Doesn't matter." Liu Yi had already calculated everything. You can go back to the mirror secret realm to grind levels, and it would only take a day at most, but they can't defeat the mirror images in that time. Ga Quan resorted to calling his friends from all over to surround Liu Yi, preventing him from entering the mirror secret realm. But he just chuckled, and then another bullet lodged itself in the head of the guy standing right next to Ga Quan. It left him stunned. The bald guy turned his head, wanting to run, but he also ended up in the crosshairs. The remaining two were also killed in succession. Ga Quan remembered the mission his superior had given him. He had to maintain their advantage in the primeval world. As long as he did that, he would be supported in anything he did. But once their advantage was gone, his superior wouldn't just withdraw all support, but would also hold them accountable for every mistake they had ever made. Now it was just Ga Quan solo against Liu Yi. He suddenly dropped to his knees and begged, "Please, please don't kill me." Liu Yi frowned. He offered a deal in exchange. As long as he could live, Ga Quan would tell him a top secret related to the primeval world. The corner of Liu Yi's mouth curled up. "Oh? Let's hear it." "No, you have to agree with me first." As soon as he finished speaking, Liu Yi sent him back to the starting point. If he wouldn't talk, fine. He didn't want to know anyway. However, Ga Quan hadn't faded away yet. He struggled to get back up. Liu Yi was surprised that he was still alive, but the 10 minutes were almost up, and the second wave of attacks was about to begin. Ga Quan kept rambling, guessing that he already knew part of the primeval world's secret. Otherwise, it would be impossible to have gotten so strong. Although he couldn't fight Liu Yi, he could report the incident to his superiors. At that point, he would be on the radar of countless other factions. Plus, after this secret realm, Liu Yi could drop back to level 1. Facing someone with at least a 2-digit level like me, your chances of growing strong again are incredibly slim. If that happens, the secret you possess will no longer give you an advantage. Spare me. I'll tell you the secret I know, and then we can team up. With your strength and mine, plus the recovery potions I've prepared, we still have a hope of conquering this secret realm. Ga Quan tried to persuade him for a long time, but Liu Yi paid him no mind. Who said I was going to die? He thought he was completely insane. No equipment, and only level 28. No matter how much stronger you are, your hands are tied. Liu Yi shrugged. Well, you can watch me clear it, if you can live that long. Ga Quan was stunned, not understanding what was happening. Liu Yi wasn't afraid of lacking equipment because they had just gifted him this pile of blue-grade loot orbs. Liu Yi excitedly opened the orbs to draw equipment. I wonder what I'll get from those 8 pathetic lives. Liu Yi appeared in a new black outfit. He stepped out of the thick dust with a serious expression. Thanks to the tight-fitting clothes, Liu Yi's arms were clearly defined. Every firm muscle fiber was visible. The system panel updated his status. Defense plus 20, resistance plus 5, speed plus 12, constitution plus 13, intellect plus 15. Level requirement, 30 minus 5. The system continued to display a notification about the attributes of his outer jacket. Express Special Ops uniform. Attributes, defense, resistance, strength. In speed and constitution, all received a point boost. Then another notification about the gloves. The ones Liu Yi had just put on, light Special Ops gloves. Attributes, defense, resistance, perception, and constitution received a point boost. New boots appeared on his feet. Express Special Ops boots. Attributes, defense, resistance, speed, and perception were increased by 5 to 20 points. Arc blade, a sharp sword with a long, slender blade. Attack power increased by a whopping 160 points. Strength increased by 20. Skill, weight reduction, equipment requirement minus 5. The system began to report the player's stats. Player, Da, level, 28. Experience. Attributes. Attack power, defense, resistance, strength, speed, constitution, intellect, perception. Distributable attribute points, 0. Energy, 354 out of 564. The system added one more line. Current combat power is 46. After the system finished its report, Liu Yi held the blade and said with a smile to the person opposite him, "Thank you for your generosity." He raised an eyebrow and continued, "With this set of equipment, my strength has at least tripled. But it also proves how pathetic you all are." Amidst the dusty desert space, Liu Yi finished his sentence. "To have such good equipment, and still lose to me." Ga Quan's eyes widened. He was completely dumbfounded by this sudden turn of events. However, in just a moment, he regained his composure, gritted his teeth, and glared fiercely at Liu Yi. He then roared, "No, even so, there's no way you can beat it alone. This secret realm, it's impossible." The monsters of the secret realm were now rushing towards them. A lead monster quickly leaped towards the dark crystal with its mouth wide open. With a single slash, Liu Yi swung his blade. He easily sliced the monster into several pieces. The young man then let out a few light laughs, his face beaming. The monsters following behind charged straight at Liu Yi. With just a few gentle swings of his blade, the monsters behind were chopped into many small pieces. He rested the blade on his shoulder and looked at it with an appreciative gaze. Liu Yi thought to himself happily, "With this blade, I don't even need to use my cognitive energy to deal with these bugs anymore." The monsters that hadn't been cut down continued to charge. They formed a circle surrounding Liu Yi in the middle. The blade quickly swept through, cutting into them cleanly. The corpses of the monsters sliced by Liu Yi fell in a circle, leaving him and the dark crystal in the center. Liu Yi slashed a few more times, and the pile of their corpses rose into a small mountain. The HP bar above Liu Yi's head was now depleted. However, the set of equipment he was wearing began to emit a faint green light, and in an instant, the HP bar was restored. On the other side, Ga Quan was struggling to fight off the monsters rushing at him with his bare hands. He couldn't help but shout a few things at Liu Yi while fighting. "So you do have fast recovery potions, but how many do you have? I'll definitely outlast you. Da!" Ga Quan looked at Liu Yi's fluid figure as he slayed the monsters and called out to him again, "Da! I'll be right here watching to see how your arrogance gets you killed." At this moment, Lu Nyut had just kicked away a flying monster in front of him when he heard the commotion below. He smirked, turned back, and teased the guy with a single word, "Grandpa," before raising his hand to continue slaying monsters. Lu Nyut left the other man with an arrogant remark, "Since you've called me Grandpa, I won't go easy on you." Hearing those words, Ga Ka gritted his teeth in anger and yelled, "You?" Suddenly, a yellow object flew towards him. Ga Ka raised his hand to block it, realizing it was another flying monster. He no longer had time to provoke Lu Nyut. Lu Nyut's HP bar was full again. His item set quickly restored it completely. After a few swings of his blade, Lu Nyut's HP dropped, and the item set restored it once more. As he continued to swing his blade, this recovery process repeated endlessly, without a single second of delay. After a long period of time, the corpses of the Secret Realm's monsters were piled up in mountains. Ga Ka stared at the scene before him and muttered, "How is this possible? How can you have so many fast recovery potions? It's unbelievable." Just then, a monster lunged forward and bit Ga Cha's arm, causing his HP bar to plummet. But he was still distracted, thinking, "The number you've used has definitely surpassed the limit a player can carry." Then, when he opened his system panel to look for a potion, he saw only empty item slots. Ga Ka thought helplessly, "Damn it, I'm out of health again." His eyes widened in disbelief. Ga Ka desperately screamed, "Potion!" But it was too late. Other monsters had already started lunging at him, and more of them swarmed his position. One bit his arm, another his leg, and another his shoulder. Ga Ka struggled, crying out, "No! No!" Realizing the situation was hopeless, he glared at Lu Nyut and said, "I can't accept this." Looking at the young man intently slaying monsters, Ga Ka screamed at him again, "Wait until we're out of here! I'll make you pay for this!" Hearing that, Lu Nyut just gave a faint laugh, and he paid him no more mind. Ga Ka's HP bar was now officially depleted. His body began to disintegrate as the system announced. Announcement. Team member detected. The entire team has 1 life remaining. Desperate Straits condition fulfilled. Secret Realm cleared successfully. Rewards multiplied by 10. The sky in the Secret Realm did not darken. Instead, it remained its original yellow color, filled with unsettled dust. Amidst the fine haze, Lu Nyut collapsed onto the ground, leaning his back against a pile of monster corpses to rest. While waiting for the system to process the remains, Lu Nyut thought to himself, "It's finally over. I'm dead tired." After letting out a weary sigh, Lu Not turned his head to watch the remains being processed and gradually disappearing. He thought, it's a good thing the bodies of these monsters get cleared after a run. Otherwise, with this many corpses, I wouldn't even know where the dark energy crystals are buried. Just then, a yellow orb appeared. It was a golden spoils orb. The system continued its introduction. Attention, golden spoils orb. Allows you to randomly draw 3 pieces of equipment from the opponent's body or 3 items from their bag. Lu Not slowly got to his feet. The corpses of the monsters had turned into streaks of blue-green light and vanished completely. Lu Not stood up straight, smiled, and said, "A golden spoils orb." The person in charge of this secret realm finally did something right. The golden orb slowly flew towards Lu Not. Watching the orb shrink and rest in the palm of his hand, Lu Not fell into deep thought for a moment. The system then displayed a notification. Cognitive force 5 out of 564. Lu Not lowered his eyes and thought, there's not much cognitive force left. The 10-minute rest period will probably only restore about half of it, and with only half restored, it might not be enough to withstand the final attack wave. He reconsidered his next move. That was a bit reckless of me. I should have unleashed my full power at the very end, not during the first or second rest period. Now I can only pin my hopes on Gagwan's golden spoils orb. I hope it can give me some useful equipment right now. The orb began to emit streams of golden light that swirled around. Lu Not gave the command, "Orb, open." The system's voice immediately rang out with a notification. Select equipment. Select item. At this point, Lu Not paused to think for a moment. Come to think of it, my strength, speed, and constitution. These 3 stats are already at 100. If I can get equipment that adds to these 3 stats, and push my strength, speed, and constitution beyond 100, then my power will achieve a qualitative leap. He then said, select equipment. The system acted accordingly. Orb is opening. Opening complete. The following items have been obtained. A round earring with a dark pink gem inside. The system introduced it. Almighty earring, right. Stats, strength plus 10, speed plus 10, perception plus 5. Level requirement, 30 to 5. Then another earring appeared. It was also an almighty earring, but the left one, with the stats, Constitution plus 10, Intellect plus 10, Perception plus 5. Level requirement, 30 to 5. After introducing the pair of earrings, the system announced again, Almighty Earring Combo Effect, 2 out of 2, all stats plus 10. Next up was a bronze-colored gun. This is a watch, also known as a handgun. Attack power plus 200, Intellect plus 30. Skill, Judgment. Attack power gains an additional triple damage or stun effect. Equipment level, 30 to 5. Handgun bullets load automatically. Each reload takes only 1 minute. Ammo loaded, 1 out of 1. Lu Not held the drawn equipment in his hands, unable to contain his astonishment. He stammered, Did I just hit the jackpot? Not only did the equipment that boosts all my stats show up, but even my destined weapon appeared. After the excitement passed, Lu Not fell silent, looking at the stat description on the gun. He then muttered, But this automatic equipment, does it really mean it takes a full minute? I can only equip 1, huh? But without hesitating for long, the young man decided to just equip it anyway. A moment later, Liu Yi commanded, System equip, and it was quickly set up for him. Player control panel, Yi. Liu Yi's figure appeared, wearing the new gear he just received. He stood in the center, surrounded by item slots that were now more than half full. The system quickly processed and displayed the stat bonuses granted to Liu Yi. Various attributes such as strength, heavy strength, attack power increase, and more. Another notification window appeared with his stats. Attack power, defense, resistance, strength, speed, constitution, intelligence, perception. Assignable attribute points, 0. HP had reached its maximum, and his mana was 155 out of 714. After equipping everything, Liu Yi cheered excitedly, So cool! Except for perception and intelligence, which had already surpassed 100. The other 3 single stats were now all just over 100. This was truly another huge leap in physical ability. He touched his chin for a moment, then hesitated. I should probably thank them. Finishing his thought, he bowed at a 45-degree angle and said, expressing my gratitude to the members of the Chicken Squad for gifting me this gear. Then he smirked, his gaze fixed forward with determination. Before him lay a vast, arid desert. Liu Yi thought to himself, the only thing I'm lacking now is my level. I just need to clear this dungeon. Then I'll be able to catch up to most of the other players. Meanwhile, in a smog-filled city with towering skyscrapers, this was Mohu City, at the massive player revival point. A figure gradually materialized amidst streaks of blue light. It was Gaeta. He kept his head bowed before a green system screen, respectfully replying, "Yes, that's right, guild leader. I'm certain he holds a secret that allows a player's power to skyrocket." Looking at the blurry figure on the screen, Gaeta continued to explain, "Otherwise, there's no way I would have died at his hands. Even if you don't believe me, you should believe." The difficulty of the Primal World Dungeon. He's a level 28 player who dared to challenge a level 35 10-man dungeon all by himself, and he was about to succeed. Who else could possibly do that? The other person pondered for a moment, then said, "Very well. I'll give you one more chance. Get your level back for me. As for that player, you don't need to worry about him anymore. I'll send someone to make contact." Jika bowed to the now dark screen and replied, "Thank you, guild leader. Thank you. I will do my best." After the screen completely vanished, Gaeta slowly looked up, his eyes filled with malice. Jika muttered to himself, let's see how you die next." The scene shifts to the real world in a coffee shop. A girl with purple hair stood up from her chair and asked her friend sitting next to her, "So, your whole family is playing this game now?" That girl was Liu Yun. Her eyes widened as she continued, "Not only that, they've also invested all their assets into it." Her friend, Huang Nianso, rested her chin on her hand, looking dejected. "Yeah, and they force me to grind levels with them every single day. I can't stand it. Even if I did want to play this game, I'd want to do it my own way." Suddenly, Huang Nianso thought of something and shot up, saying to Liu Yun, "Hey, Ayun, let's play this game together. We can go to your place. We can conquer the game together and make it our own world." Seeing her friend's sudden excitement, Liu Yun was startled and let out a small cry before saying, "But I don't have a login system." However, Liu Yun paused for a moment and thought, "Wait a minute. If she comes to my house, wouldn't that be the perfect opportunity for my brother and Huang Nianso to be together?" Liu Yun giggled to herself. "If I just step out for a little while, With that mischievous thought, 2 devil horns seemed to sprout from her head, looking incredibly wicked. Nianso, seeing her friend suddenly go quiet, continued to plead, "Can we, Ayun? Please play this game with me." Liu Yun immediately replied, "Okay, let's go. We'll go buy the login gear." The 2 girls' voices echoed as the scene shifted to a desolate, dusty wasteland where the view was obscured. The next wave of monsters charged forward, shaking the very ground. Liu Yi nimbly swung his arc blade, slicing through the monsters. He easily cut them to pieces. As his blade moved fluidly back and forth, Liu Yi mused, "To be honest, I've never felt my own growth so clearly before. When I put on the gear, all my stats grew explosively, especially after getting that weight enhancement again." His thoughts flowed with each swing of his blade. He swung his sword, creating a smooth green arc of light. The thoughts continued in his head. "I can feel the blade in my hand has become lighter." Gripping the hilt tightly, Liu Yi thought, "The power behind my swing is stronger." As his feet stomped firmly on the ground, he realized his steps were more agile, powerful, and faster. Just then, the young man leaped into the air, his thin blade swinging in a beautiful green arc. Liu Yi thought again, "The height of my jump. I can trample over anything beneath my feet." Gazing into the distance, he was suddenly startled to see the stunning, dazzling image of the horizon. Something he had never seen in his past life was now completely within his sight. That brilliant light illuminated his entire body. Liu Yi's eyes widened, and he seemed to freeze for a moment. Then his lips curled into a faint smile, his thoughts suddenly brightening. "I can see farther, see more beautiful scenery." Liu Yi landed heavily on the ground. With a magnificent spinning slash, the young man's expression gradually turned grim, his brows furrowed. A voice in his mind cried out, "But it's still not enough." Countless monsters were rushing towards the dark flow crystal. Suddenly, several rings of green light, like sound waves, erupted from the crystal. They shot out towards the monsters, quickly sending them flying. Liu Yi appeared from within the crowd of airborne monsters, continuing to tell himself, "I don't just want to see it, I want to be able to go anywhere my eyes can reach." The dusty space suddenly fell silent. In the thickest part of the dust, 9 eyes of different sizes suddenly appeared. A long, loud roar echoed as the hazy clouds of dust and smoke cleared. The figure of that nine-eyed monster was revealed. It was a larger version of the monsters Liu Yi had dealt with at the start. Seeing this, the young man, Fan, tensed up and gripped the radiant blade in his hand. Swish! A small hole was torn in the ground, sending dirt and rocks flying everywhere. Liu Yi leaped up towards the large monster whose mouth was wide open, waiting to swallow him whole as he swung his blade. The scene unfolded so quickly that before you could see anything, the system's voice rang out, "Congratulations, Player Yi, for the successful conquest. Secret Realm conquered. Secret Realm rewards, experience points, and Secret Realm essence. Times 10. Another notification followed. Achievement unlocked for completing the mission, Conqueror of the Dire Realm. You have obtained this title, Reverser of the Dire Realm. When entering a secret realm, all stats are increased by 10% when a party member is lost. Following that was a series of leveling up sounds, emanating from the system. Player Yay. Level 36. Experience is now near maximum, and a series of attributes have been listed. Finally, distributable attribute points. 30, HP and mana have both reached their maximum. The system then announced the skill branches for Chi Strength level 20. First, Silence. Causes the opponent's skills to enter a 5-second cooldown. After listing a series of points gained and lost, the system introduced the second skill. Imprison. Renders the opponent immobile for 10 seconds, along with its associated buffs and debuffs. Liu Yi was now sitting on the back of the monster, the large one that had appeared last, resting. He looked up at the sky, lost in thought, while the system began to process the decapitated corpse of the monster. The young man smiled, looking refreshed, and thought to himself, "Heh, I'm so strong." With that same arrogant smirk, Liu Yi had another thought as the system was teleporting him out of the secret realm. This time, I bet no one will reject my party invites anymore, huh? Back in the real world, at Liu Yi's place, a rather shabby-looking apartment complex, a pair of hands appeared, placing a pair of glasses on a table. Liu Yi, back in the real world, was leaning against the window, looking out at the city skyline with its buildings of various heights before him. Liu Yi quietly thought, "This recent growth is pretty satisfying." But a moment later, he lowered his head in contemplation. It's just, if only I could get one more login device. So my little sister could become a player too, that would be great. Just then, a clear voice called out, "Brother, I'm home!" Hearing the voice, Liu Yi turned towards the sound. He stepped into the house from the balcony. As he entered the living room, he met the person coming in from outside. It was Liu Yun. She was carrying a box of some sort and said, "Brother, this login device was so hard to buy. Luckily, Niansu has connections, so I barely managed to get one." Liu Yi stood frozen, staring at the two figures walking in, his expression dazed as a few words repeated in his mind. "Origin Realm login device!" The next second, he exclaimed excitedly, "An Origin Realm login device!" On the other side, Liu Yun was still smiling mischievously and chattering on as she led Huang Niansu into the house. "So, as a way to thank Niansu, she'll be staying with us from now on." The beautiful girl, Huang Niansu, hearing her name mentioned, politely raised her hand and said, "Hello, Liu Yi." Whoosh! He lunged for the login device still in Liu Yun's hands. Completely ignoring the beauty standing next to him, he cheered excitedly, "It's really an Origin Realm login device. This is great!" Holding the heavy box, Liu Yi still couldn't believe it was real and kept asking, "How did you get this?" "This is amazing." His sister Liu Yun, on the other hand, was exasperated, feeling like he was a hopeless case. She pouted, mentally scolding him like crazy. "Brother, you should be paying attention to the beautiful girl, not the login device. You're about to live with a beautiful girl. Don't get your priorities wrong." Meanwhile, Huang Niansu was also flustered, thinking to herself with a forced smile, "Is a login device really something to get this excited about?" In a vast forest, a full moon hung in the sky, its light shining down through the canopy. One day earlier, in some level 40 secret realm, whispering voices murmured softly in the dead of night. "As long as we can conquer this secret realm, we'll be able to surpass Team 2. That's right, then our overall salaries will go up too. Just thinking about it is exciting." In a clearing, a group of people sat huddled around a campfire. Those people continued talking. "In the end, we still have to thank Jie Weixi's luck. She got a special power in the game. If it weren't for that, conquering this secret realm wouldn't be this easy." Yeah, it's so strong, it's like a hack. Jie Weiqi, The person they were talking about was a beautiful young woman sitting with her knees drawn up, chin in her hand, gazing into the sky. She was a member of the New Order's demon team. Just then, the man sitting across from her spoke up. "After we conquer this secret realm, you should apply to join Team 1. That way, it'll be better for your development in the New Order." This man was Zhao Yang, the captain of the New Order's Team 3. Hearing his words, Ji Weixi's eyes widened slightly, and showing her surprise. The other team members, however, were not so calm. One of them immediately shouted a reminder, "Captain Zhao Yang, our team's growth still depends on Weiqi." Xie Weiqi heard this, but remained silent. The other members started to stand up and protest. "That's right. If Weiqi leaves, our team's rating will drop again. We worked so hard to train Weiqi up. Now is when we need her. How can you let her go at a time like this?" Trudung gently shook his head to calm the team's restlessness. "We can't let our personal feelings hold back someone's individual growth. Besides, I believe that after Nui Te joins Team 1 and becomes a leader of the New Order, she won't forget us." As he said this, he looked up and asked, "Right, Nui Te?" The young woman remained silent in response to his question. She just smirked faintly. Seeing this, the team member who had just questioned the decision said dejectedly, "So, I guess all we can do is wish her well then." The first member to speak out against this decision could only raise a hand to scratch his head, muttering a single word, "Well." Someone spoke up in compromise. "That's right, we can't hold our own people back from developing." At this, the whole team started chiming in, everyone trying to get a word in. "After you get to Team 1, if you run into any trouble or need anything, just let us know. Just like back when you first joined us. We'll do our best to help you." At this, Tan Wei-Te finally broke into a bright smile and said, "You big brothers are so kind. In that case, I'll accept your kind offer for now." Then she brought a hand to her face, feigning shyness, and said softly, "Speaking of help, there is actually something I need everyone's help with right now." Faced with this scene of a beautiful woman acting shy, the whole group stood there stunned, a giant question mark hanging over their heads. It all happened in an instant. In just a moment, the entire New Order demon team had been almost completely wiped out. One team member was still clinging to life, his HP bar in a critical state. At this moment, the teammate couldn't contain his anger and stammered out, You... Tan Wei-Te, standing opposite him, gave a slight smile. She explained calmly, "Although I have chi, my level is still too low. So I needed you all to trigger the desperate situation reward for me so I could use this opportunity and to become a top-tier player in the Origin world." Hearing this, the teammate angrily retorted, "We nurtured you, and this is how you repay us?" Wei-Te simply waved her hand dismissively. "Don't be angry, it's just a game after all. You can just grind your level back up." The man suddenly mustered all his strength, stood up, and fired repeatedly at the girl. He cursed, "Damn you, you treacherous bitch!" Tan Wei-Te wasn't flustered in the slightest. She was seen effortlessly weaving through the bullets, approaching her teammate and saying, How many times do I have to say it? In the Origin world, no matter how powerful a machine gun is, its bullet velocity is fixed. It can't hit a player whose speed attribute exceeds 100. The beautiful face smiled, her voice soft as if offering a reminder. Melee weapons, however, are different. Ta's weapon swiftly pierced through the man's neck. The once gentle girl was now nothing but unstoppable, cold-blooded cruelty. She said softly, "As long as your attributes are high enough, the speed, trajectory, and power of your hips have no limit." One day later, in a cave within some level 45 secret realm, a frantic voice cried out, "Captain, I'm almost out of potions. Are you done charging up yet?" Another person added, "I'm almost out too." A massive bat-human hybrid monster appeared, locked in a chaotic battle with another team. They shouted one after another, "This thing is so hard to deal with. Why are there no healer-class players in the Origin world? A doctor-type player who can restore health. Damn it, this is so frustrating." A stream of green light flashed across the monster's face. A single strike completely distorted its face. The source of the light was the blade in the hands of a man who had just leaped forward. The monster's teeth were knocked out, flying towards him. Cheers erupted from all around. "Wow, the captain is still the most amazing! It's just a shame the charge-up time is so long." Just as the man landed, the monster collapsed right behind him. That man with the incredible skill was the captain of New Order's Team 1, Nu Loi Dang Trong, level 45. He took a few steps forward in his proper boots. Nuloy Dongtrong heard the blonde man in the distance say stop, and then he asked, and then, Guildmaster, what's wrong? That blonde man was the Guildmaster of New Order, Blazing Fury, level 45. He replied softly, it seems another Chi user has appeared. Nuloy Dongtrong asked, friend or foe, can we recruit them? The other man replied, a moment ago he killed the person in charge of the spatial mirror. These words left Nuloy completely stunned, scratching his head. Blazing Fury turned back and asked, what is Nuite doing now? At that moment, on the outskirts of the chaotic, lawless zone, on a cliff covered with clusters of intermingling blue and pink flowers, Nuite stood with her hands on her hips, looking at the system panel before her. It displayed a private message from the New Order Guildmaster. Blazing Fury, go make contact with a Chi user like yourself. The player's name is Ye. After reading the messages, she smirked and said, he didn't say to recruit or eliminate. Raising a slender hand to her chin in thought, Nuite muttered, given how rare Chi users are right now, recruiting player Ye into the guild would prove I still have a chance to make the guild bigger and stronger. That's from the guild's perspective, but if I eliminate him, that just proves I don't really care about the guild's development. Her rosy lips curled into a slight smirk as she spoke. Guildmaster, you don't care about this player either, do you? Which is why you can accept either outcome. But I do care about you, so I'm giving you the choice. I hope you can use this as an excuse to recruit Da. Prove your own worth. With that beautiful yet innocent face, Nuite clapped her hands lightly and uttered a cruel sentence, a stark contrast to her appearance. If that's the case, then I choose to take care of Da. Liu Yi's real-world home was in a rather old-looking apartment building. He was sitting in his room with his back to us, working at his computer. On the desk was a piece of paper covered in scribbles. After the primordial world descends upon reality, it'll be impossible to level up anymore. I remember, the last time it happened, the highest level player was 60. If I can grind to level 60 by then, I'll basically be a top-tier player. Liu Yi propped up his chin, his expression pensive as he stared at the paper. With the power of a level 60, it'll be enough to ensure my sister and I are safe during the apocalypse. His face hardened with determination as he planned, and after the primordial world descends, social order will quickly collapse. Supply lines will break down, and the super-powerful gaming guilds will establish a new order for the world. Food will replace paper money as the most effective currency. Therefore, before the descent, I have to hoard as much food as possible and at the same time turn this place into a base, a small fortress, an apocalypse for just me and my sister. Liu Yi looked at the building on his computer screen. First, I'll use a bad check to rent an empty building and just leave it for now. He thought about his future plans. At the same time, I'll spend all the money I earned from the mirror dungeon to buy rice and food with a long shelf life and wait for it to be delivered. As for my character's level, I'm already at level 36, only 24 levels away from my goal. Liu Yi looked at himself with satisfaction. Everything is progressing according to plan. As long as I don't die in the game, and the real-world supplies arrive in time, then my sister and I can live in peace after the primordial world descends. In the weapon training room, 3 figures stood at the end of the hall. Liu Yi's voice echoed, in the primordial world, the most powerful force is Qi, and the key to obtaining Qi is to train your weapon proficiency. If you want to be capable in the primordial world, the most important first step is to practice with various weapons. By doing so, you can obtain Qi. A beautiful girl was holding a staff in her hands. Her name was Liu Yun, nickname Money Cent Girl, level 1. He continued, although Nianchu's level and equipment are already very good, in the primordial world without Qi, even a higher level just makes you an ordinary player. Liu Yi glanced over at Huang Nianchu, who was standing next to him. Her introduction panel displayed Huang Nianchu, nickname Sinsin Nian Nian, level 32. He said, so you two should go to the training grounds and work on your weapon proficiency first. The two of them cheerfully replied in unison, okay. Sunlight from outside streamed into the room through a crack in the door. Liu Yi stood at the entrance, turning back to look into the training room. He thought to himself, come to think of it, what have I done? I've indirectly changed history. I remember in my past life, Nianchu never came to live with us. But even setting that aside, in this life, Nianchu helped Ayun get the login device. Watching the young girl Nianchu training diligently, he thought, in my past life, if it weren't for Huang Nianchu, my sister and I wouldn't have even survived for 3 years. Liu Yi threw a punch into the air, determined. In this life, I have to repay her properly. Let's go. Time to grind. Target, level 60. Half a day later, at the exit of some level 35 dungeon, 3 figures appeared at the dungeon exit. Liu Yi stepped out, now level 37. Everyone crowded around him, praising him. That was amazing. Da, you're just too incredible. It feels like you could solo a level 35 10-man dungeon all by yourself. Yeah, totally. We finally got to ride the coattails of a pro today. The group stood around him excitedly asking, Are we going again? Let's go again. Liu Yi turned back, smiled, and told them, I'm not grinding anymore. I have some errands to run first. Hearing his refusal, they said in disappointed tones, Oh, is that so? Well, I'm not grinding anymore either. Me neither. Liu Yi said, You guys are so pragmatic. The group suggested, Let's be friends. Add us. Next time you run a dungeon and need people, remember to call us. Liu Yi cheerfully ruffled his hair and replied, No problem. It's a very serious problem. Liu Yi's eyes widened, his face filled with anger, and his fists clenched. With a level 35 10-man team running a dungeon, just one run takes half a day to a full day. One run only gives about half a level's worth of experience. At this rate, in the remaining 20 days, the highest I can get is level 50. Level 60 is completely out of the question. In a corner of the party-finding plaza, Liu Yi sat alone on a bench, anxiously wondering, What should I do? A notification popped up. Achievement complete. Desperate Situation Conquest. Title awarded. Desperate Situation Reverser. When entering a dungeon, for every team member lost, the all-player attributes increase by 10%. Could this be the only way? Liu Yi frowned, thinking. By sacrificing 9 players in exchange for the most efficient experience reward. He rubbed his face. In my past life, teams that used this kind of conquest method were called Desperate Situation Bureaus. The players who organized these teams and benefited from them were treated like rats that everyone wanted to exterminate. Wouldn't I become a person like that? But if this is the only way... Liu Yi's eyes filled with determination. Ding. A message popped up, startling him. Liu Yi looked at the letter. Who's sending me a message? Liu Yi said, Open. The letter displayed Dungeon Invitation. Inviter, Wei Si, level 40. Difficulty, 10-man. Location, Chaotic Lawless Zone, instance number 602. Do you wish to join? Confirm. Decline. Liu Yi wondered suspiciously. Wei Si? Suddenly a look of joy crossed his face. Wei Si. He looked at the letter, overjoyed. The scummy female player from my past life who specialized in exploiting the desperate situation reward to power level, and became a top-tier player because of it. Is she inviting me to join her Desperate Situation Bureau? Liu Yi thought, so maybe I can use this as an opportunity. A dog-eat-dog scenario to level up quickly. He smirked, thinking, Wei Si, don't blame me. The moment I saw your invitation, I thought of using you. 1, you're a member of the New Order. 2, we have no prior relationship. For you to suddenly invite me, you definitely have bad intentions. It's just, in my past life, Wei Si only obtained her aura before the Primal World era. Has she already gotten it now? If she has, can I even handle her? Liu Yi's leg trembled, but his eyes were filled with killing intent. He reached out and pressed accept on the invitation, his resolve hardening as he thought, Only a desperate situation can bring growth. He said aloud, Accept invitation! The notification board displayed, Team Leader, Wei Si, level 45. Team Member, Brother of the Fridge, level 43. Team Member, Gentle Beast, level 41. Team Member, Humph, level 44. Team Member, Brain-Turned Demon, level 42. Team Member, School-Eating Fairy, level 40. Team Member, Little Cake, level 42. Team Member, Skirt-Lifting Cardboard Box, level 41. Team Member, Big Account, Train to Ruin, level 43. Team Member, Yi, level 37. Liu Yi looked at the member list and sneered inwardly. They're all familiar faces. Liu Yi looked at the man on the notification board, thinking, Big Account, Train to Ruin. In my past life, after completing an ultimate trial mission for the reward, he killed all of his teammates right before the system calculated the rewards. His teammates cursed him on the World Channel for 3 whole days. He glanced at the other members. He thought, this little cake has a similar track record. Except she struck first, falsely accusing her teammates of trying to harm her, and then ended up killing them in self-defense. Liu Yi assessed the names of the other members. The rest of them, more or less, have similar histories. So, this secret realm party, was it set up by Wei Si specifically for a dog-eat-dog situation? He looked at the character panel and wondered, but how would Wei Si know about the character of these people? Or, did they only become like this after being tricked by Wei Si? A map appeared on the panel. Wei Si said, "Everyone's here. Let's move out. Location? Chaotic No Order Zone. Data 602. Secret Realm difficulty. 10 people." Big Account Trained to Ruin said, "So this is the expert the boss was talking about? Why is he only level 37? Wei Si replied, "Level isn't the most important thing. Strength is." Liu Yi immediately gave the command, "Open map." A map depicting different areas appeared. The Collapse Zone, the Orderly Danger Zone, the Chaotic Zone, the Uncontrolled Chaotic Zone. Liu Yi frowned and said, "Show the Primal World map, sorted by Misty Void's level of control." Misty Void City and the other secret realm areas are divided into 5 parts. 1. Misty Void City provides supplies for players. All secret realms within Misty Void City are under its control, and have been completely modified, like the Mirror Realm and various other trial realms. 2. The Orderly Danger Zone offers players simple, exciting adventures. The secret realms in the Danger Zone can't be modified, but 100% of the monsters within are sealed by Misty Void City. The realm that the chicken restaurant owner went to before was in this zone, a giant monster. 3. The Chaotic No Order Zone provides players with an experience of despair. Starting from the Chaotic Zone, Misty Void City's control over the secret realms begins to weaken. Monsters below level 30 can escape from the realms. A snake with sharp fangs. 4. The Uncontrolled Zone. Almost no players can reach it. The monsters that escape from the secret realms in the Uncontrolled Zone can be up to level 70. And then there's the mysterious Collapse Zone. Beyond these areas, Misty Void City cannot control the secret realms. In the Collapse Zone, as for the monsters inside, there are no seals whatsoever. A large, multi-headed tiger looking extremely ferocious. Therefore, the Collapse Zone is teeming with all sorts of max-level monsters capable of destroying the world, in a mystical forest. Chaotic No Order Zone, somewhere in the area. Whoosh! Something zipped past. Liu Yi ran forward quickly. Suddenly, a scream of "Ah!" caught his attention. Liu Yi looked in shock toward the source of the sound. It was the tragic cry of the tree demons in the forest. Liu Yi quickly hid in a stone cave to observe. Their vines covered the ground. The smaller tree demons, under the direction of a large tree, were frantically running forward. Liu Yi observed the scene from outside the cave and thought to himself, although the monsters in the Chaotic Zone's secret realms aren't high level, their numbers are overwhelming. As soon as any sound is made, all surrounding monsters will immediately swarm the source. And after that, reinforcements from the secret realm will keep coming. He frowned and sighed. Faced with this number of monsters, no one could withstand it. A voice rang out. That scream just now was probably some careless player, huh? Liu Yi glanced over, observing. He thought, looks like it's over. Was that player taken care of? Liu Yi thought to himself, they're gone. He quickly ran out of the cave he was hiding in. Suddenly, a sharp, spear-like projectile shot towards him, startling him. He gracefully dodged the fatal spear. Liu Yi thought in shock, who is this person? The other person continued to swing at Liu Yi, but he quickly dodged again. Liu Yi stared at him, his eyes filled with killing intent. The man in the shadows also looked at him, his eyes glowing red like a predator's. Liu Yi immediately used Arc, equipping it and filling it with life energy. He immediately launched an attack at the other person. The other person looked at him and sneered. He then used Violent Aura, filling it up. Boom! A massive explosion echoed as dust and smoke filled the air. When the dust began to settle, the two stood motionless, staring at each other. The man spoke. So you're another player with an aura. No wonder the captain invited you to the team even though your level is so low. This man was the team member, Big Account Trained to Ruin. Level 43. Hearing him say that, Liu Yi frowned in annoyance and stared at him. Big Account Trained to Ruin looked at him with a satisfied smile and said, although the type of attack power your aura brings is not on the same level as mine, you've earned my acknowledgement. He turned and walked away, saying to Liu Yi, let's go, to the meeting point. It'll be a problem if those monsters surround us. Liu Yi gripped his weapon tightly. Standing perfectly still as he watched the figure of Maxed Out and Scrapped walk away, Liu Yi pondered. It seems that besides me, another player has obtained Chi power, and Wei Si is also a strong possibility. He recalled the smug look on Maxed Out and Scrapped's face from earlier. Liu Yi was amazed at how terrifying this team's strength was. He thought to himself, it looks like this time the chances of getting the reward from this desperate secret realm are going to be slim. I could even die in there. If that's the case, do I still want to go? In Chaos Zone number 602, at the entrance to the secret realm, a group of people was gathered. Liu Yi quickly ran towards the entrance. From a distance, someone was secretly watching him. It was Wei Si. She was sitting on a distant rock ledge, watching Liu Yi with a faint smile. Liu Yi bit his lip and frowned, thinking to himself, so that's Wei Si. Wei Si stood up, clapping her hands to get everyone's attention. All right, that's everyone, she said. Before we enter the secret realm, I want to go over a few things. Liu Yi silently observed everyone. The three-person party was watching him warily. Maxed Out and Scrapped rubbed the back of his neck, avoiding his gaze. Liu Yi glanced over all the party members, silently sizing them up. So these are my next teammates. Future cannon fodder, Wei Si continued. The secret realms in the Chaos Zone are known for being bizarre, so once we're inside, no matter what the rules for clearing it are, or how strange things get, I expect everyone to remain calm. We'll group up and discuss a strategy. Clearing the realm is our top priority. Hearing this, everyone cheerfully agreed. No problem. Sounds good. All right then, she continued. Everyone gathered behind Wei Si. Full of confidence, she gave the order in a loud voice, "Move out!" Liu Yi followed, his expression unreadable as he thought, easy for her to say. It seems the chances of getting the reward from this desperate secret realm are incredibly slim. I could even die in here, so why am I still going? Liu Yi couldn't help but laugh at his own thoughts. Liu Yi, are you getting scared? He looked over at Wei Si, who was smiling, her eyes brimming with confidence. He sized her up. Wei Si, one of the top-tier players from my past life, and now you're finally crossing paths with her. This proves it. You're starting to encounter the players you once considered the best of the best. And because of that, you're starting to feel anxious, restless. You're worried you won't be able to become a top-tier player like them. You're afraid you won't surpass them. You're afraid you'll die, and all your hard work up to this point will become a joke. Liu Yi lifted his head, a confident smile spreading across his face as he looked ahead. The night was late, the sky glittering with stars. Liu Yi walked forward at a relaxed pace, making a silent resolution. All right then, I'll use this secret realm to prove it. He frowned, his expression resolute. I'll prove I'm not any worse than them. A painful memory flashed through his mind. A blood-stained wall, with words written in red full of self-reproach. Why won't she play with me anymore? The memory shifted to a girl with short hair, accompanied by angry words. If you won't play with me, I'll just go find other toys on my own. Corpses lay scatters on the ground. The strange voice spoke again. This isn't fun. None of it is fun. It was more fun playing with her. I want to go home. A blood-covered robot stood with its head hung low in sorrow. It spoke in a regretful voice, but I can't go home anymore. It stood alone beside a large pillar. Carved at the base was a single line, where despair and hope coexist. The players began to whisper amongst themselves. What kind of secret realm is this? It even has a cutscene. That's a first for me. At the entrance to the realm, the party members materialized one by one. One of them spoke up. You know, the mechanics of these primal world secret realms? With their random scenarios and random maps, you really have to love and hate them. Liu Yi glanced towards the speaker. Another person agreed. You got that right. Especially when you can't retry after dying. That mechanic makes it even more of a pain. The full party had now assembled, all of them staring intently at the blood-stained robot before them. One of them said, the only thing that stands out in this realm is this toy robot. Looks like it's the key to clearing this place. Suddenly, the robot vanished from before their eyes, startling everyone. An announcement echoed through the realm. Alert! Entrance and exit are now sealed. Generating mission. Alert! Mission generated. The Bizarre Game Puppet. Victory condition. Eliminate the Bizarre Game Puppet from among the players. The Bizarre Puppet has been placed in the inventory of one random player. Killing the player holding the puppet will eliminate it. Conversely, if the puppet still exists when the 6-hour time limit expires, the mission to clear the bizarre game puppet secret realm will be a failure. The player holding the puppet can transfer its parasitic hold by killing another player. Liu Yi thought to himself, "This?" He was stunned. This secret realm is... It's practically designed to generate a desperate reward, isn't it? He thought, if we leave the player with the puppet for last and then kill them, we're 100% guaranteed to get the highest desperate reward. System alert. The puppet has been implanted. Secret realm clear attempt has begun. Time remaining, 5 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. Time remaining, 5 hours, 59 minutes, 58 seconds. Check my inventory, see if the puppet is on me. Liu Yi observed those around him. He closed his eyes and frowned, thinking, no, I can't check right now. He scanned his surroundings with a steady gaze, thinking, I have to wait for things to calm down. Only then can I sneak a look and confirm whether or not the puppet is on me. He glanced at the other party members again. Otherwise, if the puppet really is on me and my surprise gives me away, I'll immediately become everyone's target. That way, I'll have a much lower chance of being targeted by the team's 2 powerhouses and getting myself killed instantly. The fat man also began to quietly observe everyone. Big Scrap was also looking around. Everyone stood silently, watching each other. Seeing this, Lu Not thought to himself, is everyone pretending to watch each other, or are they in the same boat as me? A clap echoed, drawing everyone's attention. Lu Nyat turned to look at the source of the sound. Ngui Te smiled and addressed the group. Everyone has seen the mission details. Whoever has the puppet, step forward. The surviving members will compensate for the corresponding loss. The team member who isn't parasitized by the puppet doesn't have to, right? Everyone quickly agreed with her proposal. I agree with the captain's view. Me too, Lu Nyat thought. Now's my chance. While everyone was looking at Ngui Te, he opened his backpack to check. Lu Nyat quietly opened his backpack. His eyes widened in shock as he gasped, This is... Looking at the puppet lying in his backpack, Lu Nyat thought, could you not make this so damn stressful? Right from the start, I've been pitted against the entire team. Lu Nyat frowned, looking into his backpack. He glanced at the others and thought, so my immediate objective now is to kill a team member to transfer the puppet's parasite and resolve my current crisis. He looked at the people in front of him, wondering, but who should I choose? Who should I kill to resolve my crisis? And after I kill a team member and transfer the puppet, how will I face the wrath of the 2 powerhouses? Ngui Te smiled gently and asked, is no one going to step up and admit it? Lu Nyat lowered his head in silence. As he shifted slightly, Ngui Te was suddenly right in front of him. Hey you. Yes? My dear, you should step forward and admit that you've been parasitized by the puppet. What? Lu Nyat thought, shocked. She continued, speaking of which, we haven't even introduced ourselves yet. My name is Ngui Te, female. My hobby is... Well, and you are? Lu Nyat remained silent, his brow furrowed. He glanced up at the other team members and realized they were all staring at him. Big Scrap flashed a twisted smile. His eyes glowed blood red. Lu Nyat understood. So they weren't just observing each other earlier. They were secretly communicating, sharing intel to confirm the puppet was on me. Lu Nyat quickly came to a conclusion. They're all in this together. He scoffed internally. Isn't it obvious? The sudden team invite, the ambush on the road, the probing. Although I don't know why they want to deal with me, Ngui Te set up this whole secret realm just to target me. So it's only natural that she'd pull in 8 people to help. Lu Nyat stared intently at Ngui Te, thinking, just like how I joined this team, and with the goal of entering this secret realm, to eliminate all of them and claim the ultimate reward. A wave of killing intent radiated from him, his eyes like a tiger stalking its prey. Ngui Te rested her chin on her hand, looking at Lu Nyat and sighing. How rude. But, oh well. What can I do? I've taken a liking to you. Based on the power you showed in your fight with Big Scrap, you're no match for us when we team up. So let's not waste any more time. Step forward so we can start the mission, okay? New Loi Dong Trong chimed in, Captain, let him struggle a bit. That way it'll be more satisfying to kill him. Shattering his delusions bit by bit. How fun is that? Ngui Te pouted, covering her face with her hands and feigning weakness. But that's just too cruel. I'd be too scared to watch a scene like that. As she said this, she peeked through her fingers, flashing a triumphant look at Lu Nyat. So please don't make me see it, okay? Lu Nyat secretly activated his watch equipment. He then pointed his gun at her. Despite Lu Nyat's threat, Ngui Te remained still, holding her head. She spoke in a regretful tone. You're not willing? You really don't know how to take pity on a girl. The others started whispering. Heavens, this is the expert the boss told us to be careful of? Why is he still using a firearm? Forget the boss. Even those of us without special powers could easily dodge that, right? Big Scrap stepped forward and said, He's called an expert for a reason. He definitely doesn't think like us. What if his attacks have a built-in target lock? Hearing Big Scrap's words, the others burst out laughing. As they laughed, they said, Bro Scrap, your joke game is on point. Asking for a binding skill in the novice zone is like asking for magic in a martial arts world. Don't be so sure. You can still set traps in the novice zone to indirectly achieve a binding effect. Ngui Tae also laughed. You guys are hilarious, I like it. Lu Nyat smirked and said, Binding? Ngui Tae looked at him, utterly shocked. Suddenly she was thrown backward. She stared at Lu Nyat in disbelief. Ngui Tae checked her body. I'm fine. But what was that sudden jolt? She glared at him, her eyes filled with killing intent. Ngui Tae roared in anger. Big Scrap, no more probing! Get up here with me and let's finish him! Hearing her, Lu Nyat let out a sneer. Big Scrap was about to charge forward, but he was restrained by a force, as if bound by chains. He exclaimed in shock, I can't move! He can't move anymore. Crippled Giant, who had been rendered useless, struggled against his chains and shouted, What is this? Wei Si's eyes widened in shock. Branch skill, vitality, level 30, silence. A skill that silences the target, putting all of their skills on a 5 to 10 second cooldown. Mind power cost, 50 points. Each level up increases the cooldown time accordingly. Mind power cost increases by 10. Cooldown, 1 minute. Imprison. Traps the opponent in place for 10 seconds. Mind power cost, 50 points. Every 10 levels increases the imprisonment duration by 1 second. Cooldown, 1 minute. Liu Yi continued to use the Judgment Watch, Pistol Watch, Attack Power plus 200, Intelligence plus 30. Skill, Judgment. Attacks carry an additional effect. Triple damage or stun. Equipment requirement, level 20. The pistol reloads automatically. Each reload takes 1 minute. Ammo capacity, 1 out of 1. Judgment. Triple damage. Mind power. Cost, 100. The next attack's power is increased by 5,000. Liu Yi's eyes turned crimson, filled with killing intent. He aimed the gun at Crippled Giant, his voice cold. Goodbye. Crippled Giant could only watch helplessly as the bullet flew towards him. He was shot through the stomach by Liu Yi's bullet and collapsed, to the utter shock of all the team members. Secret Realm Announcement. You have killed the player Crippled Giant. The puppet has been successfully transferred. Team members -1. Activating title, Desperate Straits Reversal. Fake. All attributes plus 10%. Wei Shi's eyes widened in shock. The other team members were also stunned. Liu Yi remained silent, thinking to himself, there were 2 things I feared most from this team. 1. Wei Shi and Crippled Giant teaming up to deal with me directly. 2. There being 4 other players with vitality builds in the team. If either of these 2 scenarios happened, it would put me in a desperate situation. Especially the second one. From Wei Si's tone earlier, I could clearly sense that in this team only she and Crippled Giant had the strength to deal with me. He recalled Wei Si's expression and words from before. Based on the strength you and Crippled Giant just showed in your fight, you're definitely not our match after we team up. He understood now. In other words, only they had vitality builds. Therefore, the threat this team posed to me was reduced to just the 2 of them teaming up. Crippled Giant's character was slowly fading away. Liu Yi thought, now while they're caught off guard and don't understand my vitality skills, I'll take out Crippled Giant. I'll eliminate the only real threat this team could pose to me, ensuring that when I face them, I'll have the absolute upper hand. A smug look appeared on Liu Yi's face. He thought, this is the best solution to neutralize my crisis. He was like a giant, manipulating the tiny players on his chessboard. But an even better plan would have been to kill Wei Si first. It's just that, a moment ago when I tried to lock onto her to use Imprison, she dodged it. Is it because of her high perception stat? Liu Yi smiled and said, a friendly reminder. The puppet has been transferred from me. You all better protect the new host. If the puppet's host dies, I'll just kill... and the rest of you. Then you won't be able to deal with me, and you won't get your revenge. He silently reminded himself, I still need to be careful and not let my guard down. If I want to get the Desperate Straits reward, then next, I have to find the new host of the puppet and save them for last. Wei Shi glared at him angrily and shouted, You! Before she could finish, she realized something was wrong. She quickly shouted, Don't move, he's trying to use this method to find the puppet's new host. The team members immediately gathered together. They shouted in shock, What? Following Wei Shi's command, they stood perfectly still. Liu Yi smiled, thinking, So it's her, is it? Liu Yi looked at Little Cake, who was standing dazedly at the back of the group, and assessed her. Subconsciously protected at the very back. Notification, all attributes enhanced. Mind power cost, 400. All attributes enhanced by 200. Liu Yi dashed past Wei Shi, rushing towards Little Cake. He moved through the other team members, killing them all with ease. Liu Yi sighed to himself. Regular players really are too weak. The Secret Realm notifications rang out continuously. Announcement, You have killed my brother's fridge. You have killed Gentle Beast. You have killed You have killed Brain-Eating Ghoul. You have killed Antruong Fairy. You have killed Shy Skirt Lifter. Announcement, all members -7. Activating title, Desperate Straits Reversal, Fake. All attributes plus 70%. Liu Yi's power surged accordingly. Wei Shi, enraged, charged at Liu Yi with her sword. A flash of green light appeared. Liu Yi quickly blocked her attack. Little Cake, terrified, collapsed to the ground in shock. Wei Shi angrily questioned Liu Yi, You left only Little Cake, the puppet's host, alive. So your real goal was the Desperate Straits reward. You've got some nerve. Liu Yi smirked in reply. Only you're left. Wei Shi immediately used ghostly steps. A mystical purple aura appeared around her. She said angrily, Just wait until I take you down. Let's see how you regret your choice then. After speaking, she suddenly vanished. Now, only a ring of purple smoke surrounded Liu Yi. He frowned, thinking, She disappeared? Suddenly, Wei Shi appeared behind Liu Yi and attacked him. Liu Yi spun around, swinging his sword, but he was a step too late. Wei Shi stabbed him hard in the back. Shadow Strike, -300 HP. The notification panel showed that team member Ye, level 37, had taken damage. Wei Shi attacked him relentlessly. The text Shadow Strike, -300 HP. Shadow Strike, -300 HP appeared repeatedly. Team member Ye, level 37's health bar dropped rapidly. Suddenly, the text Vitality Recovery plus 9,000 appeared. Suddenly, Liu Yi swung his sword and attacked Wei Shi, taking her completely by surprise. Wei Shi frowned and said, 900 damage and it only took off 75% of your health? It seems your vitality build is the tanky type. Clang! The two swords clashed. Wei Shi closed in on Liu Yi, her tone contemptuous. But that's all it is. I just need to hit you a few more times to exhaust your quick healing potions. The winner will still be me. Hearing this, Liu Yi said nothing, just looked at her and smiled. A purple circle appeared in Wei Shi's hand. This was the steel shard equipment. She attacked. HP -9,800, Flash Strike! But the notification immediately displayed, Vitality Recovery, HP plus 9,800. Wei Shi's eyes widened in shock as she thought, a 30-second instant recovery potion can only restore 1,000 health points, and you're limited to 10 bottles per secret realm. But he's already recovered nearly 19,000 health. She was still lost in thought when, swish, Liu Yi's sword slashed through her. Liu Yi looked at her and sneered, Sorry, but the winner can only be me. Wei Shi was still stunned, not understanding what had just happened. She gritted her teeth in anger as Liu Yi swung his sword again. Swish! He glared at Ngui Te with eyes full of killing intent. Ngui Te immediately backed away towards Little Biscuit, frowning as she questioned him. A plus 30 instant recovery potion. It can only restore 1,000 health points, and you can only bring a maximum of 10 vials into an instance. The damage I just dealt was nearly 20,000, yet you recovered all of it in an instant. Plus, with your super high HP, you must have a support-type Chi, Not calmly replied. You should have put all your stats into speed, plus an attack-type support Chi. That would make your speed ridiculously freakish, your attack power too. Hearing this, Ngui Te fell silent. Suddenly, she looked at him and smiled, scratching her head sheepishly. That's why my cognitive force is extremely low. I don't have much cognitive force left now. I guess I'm about to lose. Ngui Te Ten suggested, How about I just kill Little Biscuit directly and we end this instance, okay? Little Biscuit was utterly shocked to hear that. Lu Nyat thought to himself, did I push her too hard, forcing her to resort to this? The only chance to kill her is after binding her. If she realizes she can't deal with me under normal circumstances, she'll definitely choose to take out Little Biscuit to end this secret realm match. But that moment of opportunity when she was suddenly stunned was incredibly rare, Lu Nyat said aloud. So what are you waiting for? He thought, but she isn't taking out Little Biscuit directly. Maybe I still have a chance. I'll just wait for the imprisonment cooldown to finish. Ngui Tae rested her face in her hand, saying in a casual tone, it's just that if I do that, I won't be able to deal with you. What a headache. You're my main objective for this instance, after all. Ding! System announcement. All attribute enhancements have ended. Gun reloaded. Imprisonment cooldown complete. Lu Nyat's eyes widened in surprise as he thought, the cooldown is over! He shouted, imprison! And aimed his gun at Ngui Tae. He thought, what's going on? Little Biscuit, standing next to Ngui Tae, launched an attack. The system displayed Captain Ngui Tae, level 45. Ngui Tae looked at him and smirked. In their private team chat, Ngui Tae whispered to Little Biscuit, kill me, then kill yourself. Double the reward. Little Biscuit whispered back, got it. Lu Nyat's eyes bulged in shock. Ngui Tae slowly enunciated, you lose. Then she laughed like the maniac and vanished, leaving Lu Nyat standing there, stunned. He staggered back in shock. Lu Nyat asked himself, how did it come to this? He collapsed to the ground, his face a mask of disbelief. He asked himself, why did it happen like this? In his inventory, a notification showed the puppet returning to Lu Nyat's bag. He wondered, didn't she want to escape the secret realm? Why choose such an extreme method? Just to prevent me from winning? That's just ridiculous. What am I supposed to do now? Lu Nyat screamed helplessly. He clutched his head, blaming himself. Little Biscuit killed Ngui Tae, so the puppet transferred to me. Even if Little Biscuit hadn't killed herself after I killed her, I wouldn't have any teammates left to transfer the parasitic puppet to. This is a dead end, Lu Nyat said, his face blank with despair. Does this mean everything I've worked for since my rebirth is going to turn to dust? Only Lu Nyat's sky-shattering voice echoed from the pillar. This is just too frustrating. I was so close to winning. Lu Nyat lay listlessly in the middle of the pillar area. His gaze became determined. He sat up, reminding himself, no, there must be another way. He glanced around, thinking, if the Prime World hasn't directly judged my mission a failure even though all my teammates are dead, then that proves there's another way to clear it. He looked left and right, wondering, but what is it? Lu Nyat stood alone in the middle of the pillar area, shouting. Lu Nyat reached out to the empty space around the pillar and was shocked to find he couldn't pass through. He thought, it looks like empty air. Lu Nyat looked behind him. This also means the area of this secret realm is only this big. Just this area. Lu Nyat assessed the boundary of this pillar. Lu Nyat looked up and thought, this cylindrical pillar for the puppet is the only special thing here. With that thought, he jumped higher. Lu Nyat frowned. He stared at the line of text. Despair and hope coexist. Lu Nyat then noticed a smaller line of text below the title. I cannot open this door. He wondered, I cannot open this door? Lu Nyat reached out and touched the words. Who carved this? Suddenly, where his hand pressed, a square appeared like a mechanism. Secret 7. Lu Nyat's eyes widened in shock. He thought, there's a mechanism. A notification appeared. Do you wish to spend 1,000 cognitive force points to open the entrance mission to Research Institute number 602? Lu Nyat frowned, thinking, 1,000 points, that's a lot. Thanks to the desperate reversal buff, I currently have over 1,500 cognitive force. After that battle, I have just over 1,000 left, but I don't know what the situation is in there. I can't use it all up here. But I can spend 700 cognitive force points to increase all my stats by 350, and indirectly gain 1,000 cognitive force points from that. Lu Nyat calculated, that way I'll still have over 300 cognitive force points left. Besides, using the enhanced state in an unknown area is the best option. Let's do that. A notification appeared. All attributes enhanced. Consumed 700 cognitive force. All attributes increased by 350. Another notification appeared. Do you wish to spend 1,000 cognitive force points to open the initiation test for Research Institute 602? Louis said, confirm. A notification showed that the cognitive force had been consumed. The initiation test for Research Institute, number 602, was opening. A blinding flash of light appeared. Liu Yi's expression was one of utter shock as voices reached him. Director, you must decide quickly. Where should the computational power be allocated? Should it be concentrated and projected onto your followers, or should it be absorbed and projected onto everyone? A figure standing before his eyes urged him, Director, please make a decision quickly. As that eye gradually closed, the voice continued, Where do you want to allocate the computational power? Liu Yi rubbed his eyes. A blond man rushed over to him frantically. Onto your followers, or absorb and project it onto everyone? Liu Yi thought to himself, what does projecting computational power even mean? He asked, What's the difference? The man was frantic with worry. Director, you must decide quickly. Where do you want to allocate the computational power? Concentrate and project it onto your followers, or absorb and project it onto everyone? Liu Yi looked at him, confused. Is this a scripted event? He thought. This must be the independent space for the initiation test of Research Institute, number 602. Liu Yi glanced around, wondering, but what do these two choices mean? Liu Yi looked at the two panels displayed in front of him, thinking, so the initiation test is just choosing one of these two? Concentrate and project onto followers, or absorb and project onto everyone. Is there a penalty for choosing wrong? He wondered. Liu Yi frowned, sighing. This is so random. It's too hard to choose. He frowned again, thinking, based on the script of this fixed program, they must be facing some kind of calamity. He recalled the urgency in the other man's expression. And the key to winning is the computational power, he mentioned. But what do you get after the computational power is projected? The right to continue surviving? Liu Yi rested his chin on his hand, frowning in thought. Or do you become a tool to resolve the calamity? Liu Yi sighed and buried his face in his hands, frustrated. In my past life, I was only level 1. I never had access to such important information about the origin world. Asterisk. A thought flashed in his eyes. If it's the right to survive, I'll choose to concentrate and project onto my followers. That way, I can lead my sister and we can keep surviving. But if it's about becoming a tool to resolve the calamity, then I'd definitely choose the latter. If the calamity is unavoidable, then trying to solve it is the only way out. He stared intently at the two choices before him, evaluating them. Besides projecting computational power onto someone, must be to grant them a specific trait that can resolve the calamity. But who's to say the chosen person will definitely be suitable? Maybe among the people being considered, there's someone who is a perfect match for the computational power. Someone who only needs a little bit of it to produce results beyond imagination. He immediately thought of himself in his past life. Just like in my past life. If it weren't for the fact that player levels couldn't be raised after the origin world descended, I wouldn't have ended up like that. Liu Yi reached out and selected a display panel. He said, I choose this one. The words absorb and project onto everyone lit up on the panel. Liu Yi prayed internally, please let this be the right choice. Nothing around him changed. He was sent back to the initial space. Liu Yi looked a bit dazed. He frowned, observing his surroundings, and thought, there's no change at all. Did I choose wrong? Liu Yi sat on the ground, crossing his arms in thought. So the correct answer was to concentrate and project onto your followers? He frowned, thinking, right now my cognitive force is only around 350. Because of the parasitic puppet, I'm considered to be in a combat state. This makes my cognitive force recovery rate incredibly slow, but even so. In the remaining 5 hours, I should be able to recover 1,050 cognitive force. That's enough to open the initiation test 2 more times. 2 times should be enough. Wait. Liu Yi closed his eyes to rest and meditate. After an hour and a half, Liu Yi's cognitive force bar displayed 700 out of 1,594. Liu Yi opened his eyes. A notification appeared. Consumed 700 cognitive force. All attributes enhanced by 350. Notification. You can consume 1,000 cognitive force points to open the entrance to Research Institute number 602. Liu Yi said, Okay. This time, when faced with the two choices, concentrate and project onto your followers, and absorb and project onto everyone. Liu Yi was about to choose the other option, but he stopped. He thought, if the initiation test is just about picking the right option, then getting into this research institute would be too easy, wouldn't it? All you have to do is choose correctly. Then what's the point of that big gate? Choosing people without cognitive force. He recalled when he first entered this secret realm. That strange girl and the puppet. The puppet said, "No fun. This is so boring. I'd rather go home and play with her. I want to go home, but I can't go home anymore." Liu Yi guessed. The puppet was probably blocked by this gate's test. That's why it couldn't enter the research institute. It considers this place its home. But what stopped it? He wondered. The amount of cognitive force? A specific trait? Or personality? The only clue that seems useful right now is the opening animation when I entered the secret realm. The only point that the opening animation made was that the puppet left the research institute because of its playful nature. In the end, when it had played enough and wanted to come back, it was blocked from entering. Liu Yi frowned as he came to a final conclusion. So, the thing holding the puppet back is its personality, he thought, looking at the selection panel. This test, it might not be about choosing one of these options, but about my attitude while choosing. Liu Yi frowned. What kind of attitude should I have? He reached out thinking, I have to trust my own judgment. As he pressed the button, he chose the second option again. A flash of light, and Liu Yi was back where he started. Nothing around him had changed. He frowned, thinking, only one last chance left. If my judgment is wrong, then all that's waiting for me is to start all over again. But still, I have to trust myself. Liu Yi's cognitive force bar showed 15 out of 1,594. He sat down again, closing his eyes to rest. 3.5 hours later. System panel countdown. Secret instance clear time. 27 minutes and 5 seconds. Liu Yi's cognitive force bar showed 700 out of 1,594. A notification appeared. Consumed 700. Cognitive force. All stats enhanced by 350. Notification. Can consume 1,000 cognitive force points to open module number 602, entrance to the research lab. Liu Yi said, okay. Liu Yi once again returned to that room. This time he didn't hesitate and pressed the button, still choosing release reflexes. Liu Yi was sent back to the starting point, but his surroundings were shaking violently. The pillar where the puppet stood was slowly descending. Liu Yi exclaimed joyfully, "Yes, it worked!" He laughed, thinking, so the most important part of the test really wasn't about which option to pick. It was a test of whether you're firm in your own convictions. Therefore, no matter which option you choose, as long as you pick the same one 3 times in a row, you can open this door. He looked down at the exit, thinking, the hidden stage of this secret instance is probably meant to be completed by a whole team. Liu Yi walked down the stairs, pondering as he went. It's just that the game world left a sliver of a possibility for one person to complete it. That's why it was set to 3 times. Liu Yi continued down, thinking, and that sliver of possibility is the Enhance All Stats plus Full Intelligence plus the Desperate Situation Reversalist title. Otherwise, it's fundamentally impossible to open this door 3 times. Liu Yi looked at the deep, dark tunnel, thinking, you could say that right now. Besides me, no one else can clear the hidden stage alone. Of this secret instance, he frowned in thought. Speaking of which, I was really careless dealing with Nui Te this time. Although they say only a desperate situation can lead to a breakthrough, being brave doesn't mean being reckless. Liu Yi felt a bit of regret. If I had joined a team, or even if I had known Nui Te was that crazy before entering the instance, then I wouldn't have miscalculated at the end and almost gotten myself killed here. Liu Yi saw a figure at the end of the path. As he got closer, he saw the doctor was dead, now a skeleton. Liu Yi looked at the skeleton and recognized it as the female corpse from the intro animation. Suddenly, a red bubble flew out. Liu Yi was completely stunned. The red ball from the corpse flew towards him and merged with him. System notification. Congratulations, player Da, for a perfect clear. Secret instance, Troublemaker Puppet cleared. Troublemaker Puppet has been purified. Reward. Computing authority plus 1%. Hearing this, Liu Yi let out a sigh of relief. The system continued its notifications. Achievement unlocked. Touched the mandate of a desperate situation. Reward. Secret instance, clear plus 10. The system is calculating the results. Liu Yi, drained of strength, leaned against the wall behind him. His legs were shaking uncontrollably. Liu Yi thought to himself with relief, looks like I was really scared. Scared of dying in this instance. He rubbed his forehead and chuckled softly. How embarrassing. A little hardship and my legs turned to jelly. System notification. Liu Yi's strength has greatly improved, and his current level is 44. Besides the significant power boost, Liu Yi's skill points have also improved. His current cognitive force is 846 out of 846. The system chimed continuously, calculating combat power. Skill, life force level 40. Skill, life force level 40. Target's unstable HP and cognitive force increased by 10 levels. Target's full body status effect duration plus 1 second. Target cannot move. Cooldown, 24 hours. Target marker standard range, 1,000 meters. All sensed living beings. Duration, 10 minutes. Cost, 50 cognitive force points. For every 10 level increase, duration increases by 10 seconds. Liu Yi clenched his fist, thinking, but I guess this means I beat Nui Te, right? He shouted joyfully, I'm so awesome! Liu Yi laughed heartily. Meanwhile, Lu Van and Huang Nim So were still training diligently, both looking extremely happy. At the player revival point, a figure was waiting. Nui Te thought to herself, it's been 6 hours. She frowned, asking herself, so, I lost. The chat panel displays, steaming hot New Order guild leader. Ngui Te, what's wrong? Ngui Te, I died. Steaming hot New Order guild leader. You killed him? Ngui Te, I died. Steaming hot New Order guild leader. Ngui Te? Ngui Te, but I got some valuable intel. Steaming hot New Order guild leader. What do you want in exchange? Ngui Te, help me cultivate a mirror image in the mirror space, one strong enough for me to recover my level after a challenge. The chat panel displays, Ngui Te. Da is a person with support-type chi, but the person he wanted to find, steaming hot, frowned as he looked at the chat board. In the reception room of the New Order Guild's headquarters in the Origin Realm, Infinity sat across from him. Steaming hot said, you know support-type auras are rare, so you want me to agree to help you clear the out-of-control secret realm zone? He happily agreed. Sure, he is the player Infinity, level 45. His compatible weapon is the fist, and he possesses the vitality aura. He proposed his fee, I want this much, 100,000 per secret realm clear. Steaming hot scoffed and replied, no problem. Outside the New Order headquarters, night had fallen. As Infinity stepped out, someone spotted him in surprise. He ran over and said loudly, Big bro, how did the negotiations go? The New Order guys must have been jumping for joy, right? I heard they were turning the whole network upside down looking for someone with a support aura. Infinity angrily kicked a nearby iron pole, bending it. The other guy immediately trembled and fell silent. Infinity frowned and said angrily, it's settled. 100,000 per secret realm. The other guy asked in shock, you actually pulled it off? That's step 1 of our plan. So why are you still so angry? Infinity yelled furiously, what I'm not happy about is, I'm not the only special one. The only special player with a vitality aura? He frowned, his tone annoyed. How are we going to execute the next step of our plan? How are we supposed to climb to a high position in the New Order through the support route? Climb to a high position in the New Order. In reality, at Liu Yi's residence, he stared at the paper in front of him, wondering, computational authority? Liu Yi crossed his arms, deep in thought. Computational authority. What is this? Literally, it means the authority to control the operational level of large-scale machine computing power. A reward obtained after perfectly clearing a secret realm. Is it a condition to start some kind of large-scale mission? Or does it have some other special meaning? Liu Yi frowned, pondering. What would happen if my computational authority reached 100%? What's the relationship between this computational authority and the computing power from the introductory trial? He put a hand to his forehead, tired. Ugh, too many questions. Liu Yi stood up. He just felt that it's very important, related to my future. Forget it, I'll stop thinking about it. I'll take a shower first. Hello? Liu Yi went to open the door and stepped out. Huang Nianso was happily drying her hair. She spotted Liu Yi. Huang Nianso cheerfully waved at him. Liu Yi smiled and nodded back at her. He walked straight towards the bathroom, but suddenly stopped at the door. He thought. Just then, Huang Nianso opened her room door and went inside. Liu Yi swallowed and thought to himself, ever since Huang Nianyun started living here, there's been this faint, sweet scent in the house. He blushed, scratching his cheek shyly, thinking, it smells pretty nice. Suddenly, Liu Yi slapped his head to clear it. He chided himself. What am I thinking? Hurry up and shower. Then I'll go online and set my goals for the next phase. In the Origin Realm, Liu Yi stood before a screen, thinking, my current level is 44. The target is 60. That's only a 16-level difference. Based on 2 Secret Realm runs per level, I'll need to run Secret Realms 32 times. That'll take about 20 days to reach my goal. Liu Yi rested his chin on his hand, thinking. And right now, the Origin Realm is only 22 days away from descending upon reality. He worried. Time is too tight. If anything unexpected happens, I might not reach level 60. On the other hand, my equipment is also a huge problem. The screen displayed, current Secret Realm Essence remaining, 11,021. There are 2 ways to get equipment in the Origin Realm. One is to use Secret Realm Essence to craft it directly. The other way is to use Secret Realm Essence to upgrade equipment. Liu Yi suddenly felt his stomach clench. These are the 2 common methods. I currently have a total of 11,021 Secret Realm Essence points, 3 Secret Realm rewards. The remaining 4,271 points are from the equipment I drew, but couldn't use. I got them after dismantling it. The screen displayed, craft level 40 purple equipment, cost 650 Secret Realm Essence. Craft, yes/no. Upgrade level 30 purple equipment to level 40 purple equipment. Cost 400 Secret Realm Essence. Upgrade? I'm still missing 3 pieces of gear. A helmet, a necklace, and a badge. Plus, upgrading the 9 pieces of equipment I'm wearing to level 40. In total, that will cost 5,550 Secret Realm Essence points. The screen displayed, upgrade level 40 purple equipment to level 50 purple equipment. Cost 700 Secret Realm Essence. Upgrade? Yes/no. Upgrade level 50 purple equipment to level 60 purple equipment. Cost 1,100 Secret Realm Essence. Upgrade? Yes or no. Liu Yi thought, later on, after subtracting what I have, upgrading the whole set to level 60 will still require 16,129 Secret Realm Essence points. That means I'll need to run over 40 more Secret Realms above level 40. Liu Yi rested his chin on his hand and glanced at the screen. He frowned, thinking, after all the calculations, to safely reach my goal, I'll need to risk getting the reward from a dire realm at least 1 or 2 times. Who should I target? A new message notification appeared. Liu Yi glanced at it, thinking, a message from who? Suddenly, he froze. Wait a minute. He thought anxiously, a new message appears right when I'm in a predicament? Why does this feel so familiar? Liu Yi ordered, open message. The private message displayed, from Steaming Hot, Guildmaster of New Order, are you free? Let's chat. Liu Yi frowned. Guildmaster of New Order? Someone kicked Liu Yi, knocking him to the ground. He remembered the person's harsh tone. Why is trash like you in the New Order? Get lost, the Guildmaster is coming. Liu Yi recalled his past life. After the New Order descended in the Origin Realm, it controlled the entire South China region where he lived, and was one of the strongest guilds in the world. They enforced a management system that privileged the elite. As long as you were an elite player or a commoner with special energy under their power, life was very comfortable. But low-level players and commoners without special abilities had to live like animals, suffering endless oppression. In my past life, I was one of the latter. 1. It would be impossible for me to say I don't hate the New Order. Liu Yi frowned, thinking. But the root cause was still that I was too weak in my past life. Chat screen. Yeah. What is it? Steaming Mad, leader of the New Order. I want to organize a team to specialize in raiding the out-of-control zone's secret realm. The team is currently missing a support-type aura user. I heard from a friend that you're a support-type aura user, so I came specifically to invite you. Feel free to state your conditions for joining. If I can meet them, I'll do my best to satisfy you. Yeah. You're only missing a support-type aura user? You mean every member of the team has an aura? Steaming Mad, leader of the New Order. That's right, Liu Yi thought to himself. A team where every member has an aura, that kind of power. Chat screen. Steaming Mad, leader of the New Order. You could say this is definitely one of the strongest teams in the Origin world right now, yeah. Then why go to the out-of-control zone? With a team like this, you could probably dominate the chaotic zone or the danger zone. Steaming Mad, leader of the New Order. I have my reasons for having to go. Yeah, let me think about it for a bit, I'll get back to you later. Steaming Mad, leader of the New Order. All right, Liu Yi frowned, asking himself if he wanted to go. Although this team's setup almost completely eliminates my chances of getting the Secret Realm's main reward, on the other hand, the speed of gaining experience and Secret Realm essence while raiding will definitely be far beyond that of a regular team. It's just, why does he insist on going to the out-of-control zone? Starting from the out-of-control zone, you can't use the teleportation gate of the Tomb of the Void. You can't teleport directly into the secret realm from the city, and the wilderness of the out-of-control zone is crawling with level 70 secret realm monsters. Liu Yi quickly pushed the thought out of his head. Forget it. I'll upgrade my gear first and then decide. System display. Crafting level 40 purple equipment. Consuming 650 secret realm essence. Generating player equipment. Yeah, with these pieces of gear. Shikigami hat. Attributes. Defense 30. Resistance 10. Intelligence 24. Intelligence 22. Constitution 22. Equipment level 40 to 5. Guardian amulet. Attributes. Defense 30. Resistance 10. Intelligence 25. Intelligence 21. Constitution 20. Equipment level 40 to 5. Wisdom's swiftness. Battle robe. Special. Attributes. Defense 30. Resistance 10. Strength 11. Agility 15. Constitution 12. Intelligence 30. Equipment level 40 to 5. Special wisdom undershirt. Attributes. Defense 30. Resistance 10. Agility 15. Constitution 12. Intelligence 15. Intelligence 30. Equipment level 40 to 5. Wisdom's swiftness. Special combat boots. Special. Attributes. Defense 30. Resistance 10. Agility 11. Agility 10. Perception 13. Intelligence 30. Equipment level 40 to 5. Special wisdom combat gloves. Attributes. Defense 30. Resistance 10. Perception 12. Constitution 11. Constitution 11. Intelligence 30. Equipment level 40 to 5. All-knowing earring left. Attributes. Strength 20. Agility 20. Perception 10. Intelligence 30. Equipment level 40 to 5. All-knowing earring right. Attributes. Constitution 20. Intelligence 20. Perception 10. Intelligence 20. Equipment level 40 to 5. Set effect. Omniscient earrings. All attributes plus 20. Wisdom's arc blade. Attributes. Attack power 240. Strength 30. Intelligence 20. Equipment level 40 to 5. Sigil of wisdom. Attributes. Defense 10. Resistance 30. Intelligence 63. Equipment level 40 to 5. Clockwork pistol 6. Attack power 300. Intelligence 60. Skill. Judgment shot, accompanied by triple damage effect or stun. Equipment requirement. Level 40 to 5. Auto reloads. Each reload takes 30 seconds. Ammo, 1 out of 1. Its stats are incredibly strong. HP, 6,030 out of 6,030. Mana, 2,034 out of 2,034. Calculating combat power. Calculation complete. Current combat power is 102. Detecting combat power greater than 100. Title upgraded from low-rank warrior to high-rank warrior. Title effect. All attribute weighting plus 1. Upgraded title effect. All attribute weighting plus 2. My stats. They're so high. HP is 8,040 out of 8,040. Whoa. Mana, 2,712 out of 2,712. Liu Yi exclaimed in shock. Damn, this combat power system reward is insane. After my combat power exceeded 100, it directly increased the attribute weighting from 1 to 2. My strength instantly jumped by 30%. If I keep increasing my combat power, can I increase the weighting even more? Liu Yi wondered, how much would I need? 200? 1,000? Suddenly, he fell into deep thought. He narrowed his eyes, thinking, come to think of it, the combat power system only unlocks if you have an aura. Then the enhancement it gives me. Other players with auras must have it too. If that's the case, doesn't that mean all the members of that team organized by the New Order's leader have the same kind of power as me? Joining a team like that would be like 10 people like me forming a team to raid a secret realm in the out-of-control zone. It seems like the out-of-control zone might not be so impossible after all. Chat screen appears. Yeah, are you there? After a moment of thought, I agree to join. Steaming mad, leader of the New Order. A wise choice. I won't treat you poorly. There's another support-type aura user on this team. The deal I give him is 100,000 per secret realm run. You'll get the same. Liu Yi thought in surprise, what did this New Order leader do before? How is he so rich? But this is good. Now I'll have money to buy more food. Chat screen? Yeah. Pay per run? Steaming Mad, leader of the New Order. No problem. Steaming Mad stared at the chat screen and smirked. System display. Yeah, has joined the party. Steaming Mad. Welcome to our last member. Wuji. So this is the second Aura user on our team besides you? Yeah, hello. Wuji. Hey, let's do our best to support the team from now on. Yeah, okay. Notification. Steaming Mad, leader of the New Order. Gather at the north gate of the Tomb of the Void City. Liu Yi picked up his weapon. He thought, first I'll hide my headgear display, then I'll bring my old regular gun just in case. The clockwork pistol is currently reloading. He holstered the weapon in the pouch on his back. He also slung the blade over his back. A little disguise might increase my safety factor a bit. At the north gate of the Tomb of the Void City. Party member list. Leader, Steaming Mad, level 50. Member Shieldy Loves Meat, level 50. Member Hatstring Want Fly, level 50. Member Lil Fist Want Punch, level 50. Member Dual Blades No Sweat, level 50. Curly-haired member is Truth, level 50. Warrior member, Latecomer, level 50. Nameless member, Monster Root, level 50. Infinity member, level 45. Yi member, level 44. Liu Yi walked over to join the others. He approached the group in front of him alone. Hot-headed, and another group of 3 with headbands were all watching him. When Infinity saw Liu Yi, he waved cheerfully as if they were old friends and shouted, "Is that Ye? Is that Ye?" He smiled and introduced himself. "I'm Infinity, the only one who greeted you in the chat channel." Liu Yi replied happily, "Hello." Hot-headed spoke up. "We've never worked with a Chi support type before. Now we have enough people." He continued, "Before we head to the out-of-control zone dungeon, you two should show us what you can do, so it'll be easier to coordinate later." Liu Yi thought to himself, "He's the guildmaster of the New Order from my past life." After the origin world descended, he became one of the most powerful people. Hot-headed continued, "Use it on me. Whether it's a buff or a debuff, just use it once." Liu Yi and Infinity looked at each other at the same time. Infinity said, "Well," he thought, "skills are basically trump cards. Isn't using my skills just showing him all my trump cards?" Infinity said, "Then I'll go first." With that, he turned and walked away. Infinity smiled and explained, "They'll trust us more if we show them." Liu Yi immediately replied, "That may be true, but..." Infinity walked up to Hot-headed. He smiled and said, "My friends and I, who also have Chi powers, have experimented with the casting range of Chi abilities. It's all calculated based on the appropriate attack range of one's own weapon." He continued, "My suitable weapon is a pair of gauntlets, so my attack range is about 1.5 meters. So I need to get within 1.5 meters of my target to use my skills on them. You could say this is my biggest weakness." Hot-headed replied, The relationship between skills and suitable weapons is indeed like that." Liu Yi was dumbfounded, thinking, There's such a rule? His weapon is a pair of gauntlets, so his skill's casting range is only 1.5 meters. In that case, my suitable weapon is a handgun, so what's my casting range? He thought, 100 meters? Or 200 meters? I don't think I've ever really thought about this issue. I've always just cast my skills whenever I felt like it, Liu Yi thought with a forced smile. But if that's really the case, I suddenly feel like I'm a total freak. Infinity then demonstrated his skill. "This is my first skill, Recovery." He continued, "This is my second skill, Curse." He immediately used Curse on Hot-headed, making him angry, his eyes sharp. Infinity said, "I've personally tested it. It works on bosses and the effect is excellent. It can inflict a series of negative statuses on the target, like weakness, aging, or slow." A chain then appeared in Hot-headed's hand. He said, "This is my third skill." Silence. "It can restrict any of the target's skills, including a boss's." Infinity smiled and said, "These 3 skills should be enough to support you all. As for the 4th skill, consider it me keeping a little trump card for myself. I hope the Guildmaster can understand." Hot-headed said, "That's understandable." Liu Yi thought, he only showed his 3 most commonly used skills that are also most beneficial to the team, while keeping his 4th, possibly less used skill. But it's definitely a good trump card. A demonstration like that is indeed acceptable. Liu Yi then stepped forward and said, "My turn. My suitable weapon is a knife. The casting range is about 3 meters, a bit better than Infinity's. My first skill is the same as his. The second is Blessing. The third is Bind. I'll show you." Liu Yi immediately used Bind on Hot-headed, followed by a simplified version of Blessing. A golden light appeared around Hot-headed. He explained, Bind can lock a target for 10 seconds. I'm not sure if it works on bosses, I haven't tried. Blessing can dispel a target's abnormal statuses. He smiled and said, including my own bind. As for my fourth skill, I'll also keep it as a trump card. Liu Yi glanced at Infinity, who smiled back at him. Hot-headed rested his chin on his hand and said, I pretty much get it now. In that case, the team's strength should be sufficient. He shouted, brothers, we were stuck on the outskirts of the out-of-control zone because we lacked Chi support members. Now we've found them. And we found 2 at once. Hot-headed raised his hand high, his voice filled with determination as he spoke to everyone. This time, we will definitely venture deep into the out-of-control zone and conquer the dungeon within. Everyone cheered in unison. Yeah, let's move out! Liu Yi followed behind, watching everyone's backs as they moved forward. He thought to himself, when it comes to dungeon rewards, the Chaos Zone and the out-of-control zone are about the same, but the danger in the wilderness is worlds apart. So why is the New Order's guildmaster so insistent on going? What secret is hidden in this out-of-control zone dungeon? Infinity looked at him, waved, and called out, yeah, hurry and catch up. Liu Yi smiled and replied, coming. He thought, being the only one is what's most valuable. Infinity looked ahead, his eyes filled with killing intent. He thought to himself, yeah, is that right? I'll find a chance to reset your level back to 0. When that happens, I'll be the only one with chi power again. The group stood before the entrance to the out-of-control zone. Below was a deep, dark abyss, filled with ruins and shrouded in mist. A voice explained. The out-of-control zone is different from the Chaos Zone, the zone of disorder. The New Order's guildmaster stood at the entrance, sharing the information he knew about this area. The wilderness difficulty of the out-of-control zone is calculated based on the number of people in the party. This is also why I only organized a 10-person team to enter the out-of-control zone. He turned to the group behind him and gave a serious warning. Even if this were the simplest 10-man difficulty, we're facing a 70 plus 10 difficulty, so we absolutely cannot be careless. Besides, there are no rewards for killing the monsters on the outskirts. Therefore, when it comes to the monsters on the edge of the out-of-control zone, we avoid them if we can. If we can't, we find a way to lure them out, even if it means sacrificing a team member. That was the only way. As soon as he finished that last sentence, the whole group fell silent. None of them wanted to be the sacrifice. The New Order guild leader took the lead and jumped down first. The group behind watched him jump first. Then one by one, they followed his lead and jumped down, leaving only the protagonist, Liu Yi, standing at the edge of the abyss. He bent his knees to gain momentum, preparing to follow. With a single push, he leaped down. At first, there was still some light shining from above, but the deeper he fell, the thicker the darkness became. With a loud thud, he landed. The spot where Liu Yi touched down caved in, sending rubble flying everywhere from the powerful impact. He stood up and looked towards the sky. A bolt of lightning was illuminating a part of it. It helped those standing in the out-of-control zone to see a fraction of their surroundings. Liu Yi scanned the area warily. On the roof of a ruined building, a beast was staring intently at the group that had just appeared in the dark zone. The monster was like a cross between a leopard and a wolf, its body covered in black spots, with spikes growing out of its limbs and spine. It had sharp claws and a mouth full of jagged teeth, from which a low growl escaped. Liu Yi stared at it. The New Order guild leader also knew there was a monster nearby. He reminded them, avoid it if you can, then continued, head to the safe point we prepared beforehand. As soon as the words left his mouth, he took off running. The group behind him followed one after another. Seeing its prey flee, the monster began to hunt. But before it could get far, a giant hand snatched it, holding it tight like a doll. It was a colossal monster, 10 times its size. The large monster squeezed its hand, crushing the smaller one like an ant. It let out a massive roar and leaped with incredible force. The ruins beneath its feet shattered into pieces as it chased after Liu Yi's group. The pursuit created loud noises. A man with a ponytail in the team wondered, "What's that sound?" Before he could finish his sentence, he turned his head and saw a giant monster chasing them from right behind. It was leaping over the dilapidated buildings. Seeing it, the man with the ponytail shouted a warning. "Boss, that's a Gu Diao! Oh my god, what is happening?" How did we run into this menace right after we arrived? The New Order guild leader didn't even look back. He kept running forward and yelled, "Stop talking nonsense and focus on escaping it!" Then he veered off in another direction. Everyone behind him followed. Wuji, who was next to the man with the ponytail, asked, "Is that monster really that strong?" The man with the ponytail's face was tense and serious. He didn't hide anything and explained, "Our guild has sent 10 teams into the out-of-control zone so far. To gather intel, 5 of those teams were killed by that thing. So you tell me, is it dangerous or not?" Behind them, the Gu Diao was still in pursuit, destroying any obstacle in its path. It left a trail of shattered rock and earth, relentlessly chasing the group, determined not to let its prey escape. The New Order guild leader saw that this wasn't good. He immediately gave an order, "Headband, take the lead and lure it away." Headband obeyed the command, stopped, and faced the Gu Diao, replying, "Got it." Before the Gu Diao could reach him, it was controlled by the skill, Plaything. Forcibly taunts the target, making them attack the user. Duration, 1 minute. While taunted, the target's movement speed is reduced by 10% and attack power is reduced by 10%. Hit by the skill, the Gu Diao's speed immediately decreased. This bought Liu Yi's group some time to get further away. However, it was still chasing them. If they couldn't shake it, the Gu Diao would pursue them until it achieved its goal. Wu Ji, running at the back of the group, glanced behind him, a calculating look on his face. He frowned, thinking, if that monster is as fast as they say. His eyes filled with malice. He stared at Liu Yi's back, a despicable thought forming in his mind. Then I should take advantage of this. He used a marking spell on Liu Yi. Mark. The target will constantly exist within the 1,000-meter sensory range of all creatures. Duration, 10 minutes. Immediately all the surrounding monsters, unstirred as if they had scented prey. A huge horde of them turned to look in one direction. Among them was the giant Gu Diao, which was still under the effect of Headband's skill. Headband looked towards the Gu Diao. It had suddenly stopped moving. Strange, he wondered. Why isn't it chasing anymore? Unaware of anything, Liu Yi was still running at full speed down the path when something shot towards him, a blur moving so fast it left no shadow. It was a monster, charging straight for Liu Yi, his eyes filled with panic and surprise. Crash! The monster slammed him into a wall. The impact shattered a large amount of rubble. The rest of the group didn't understand what was happening. What's going on? Wuji didn't care and kept running, a triumphant smirk spreading across his face. Everyone else was shocked, asking, why did Liu Yi suddenly become the target for all the monsters? The New Order guild leader seemed to have figured it out. He looked towards Wuji, whose face was twisted into a vile and ugly grin, confident that Liu Yi was sure to die. The New Order guild leader left them with one sentence, "Go to the safe point first. I'll try to save him." With that, he immediately ran back towards Liu Yi, leaving the rest of the team in stunned silence. The others only had time to cry out, "Guild leader!" before his figure disappeared from sight. Wuji was shocked to see this. This seemed to be outside of his calculations. Is the New Order guild leader brain dead or something? How could he possibly save him in a situation like this? He acted as if nothing was wrong, trying to restore morale in the team. The guild leader must be confident to do something like that. Let's get moving. We can't become a burden to him. In the distance, buildings were being smashed to bits, sending concrete slabs crashing to the ground. Seeing this, the man with the ponytail exclaimed, "The one that just broke free is back." The rest of the group ran towards the safe zone. The system displayed Liu Yi's information. Team member Ye, level 44. The New Order guild leader's face was extremely serious. "Don't you die on me." A monster lunged out right next to him, but he wasn't scared. He swung one-handed, slashing at the monster, but the blade he created couldn't pierce it. It was even slightly worn down. The New Order guild leader's eyes widened in shock. "The defense of these monsters is too high." The monster's claws attacked him. He blocked the attack and retreated, watching as swarms of monsters rushed towards Liu Yi like ants to honey. In his heart, he began to give up. With so many of them left, I don't think he can be saved. Suddenly, a light shone from Liu Yi's position. The New Order guild leader was surprised to see that not only was Liu Yi not dead, but he was fighting back against the horde of monsters. He used the skill, Stasis State. It locks the target's health, meaning mana is not consumed. For every 10 levels, the duration of the full body lock on the target increases by 1 second. During the lock, the target cannot move. Cooldown, 24 hours. Stasis State countdown, 10. Liu Yi shouted, "Blessing!" The system announced, "Blessing is effective during Stasis State. Character cannot move, abnormality has been dispelled. Mark has been dispelled." Liu Yi picked up his familiar sword. His attack power increased by 50%. He swung his arm and a slash of green light shot out from the blade. It sent the monsters flying. They were sliced in two, unable to live any longer. Liu Yi's face was grim, his body perfectly unharmed. He had killed the small fry, but there was still the giant vulture monster in the distance. It charged forward with a rumble, extending its sharp claws, wanting to tear Liu Yi to shreds. He wasn't the least bit afraid, gritting his teeth. He caught the sharp tip of the claw in front of him and squeezed with all his might, causing cracks to appear on it. He gripped it tightly. The pressure pushed him back, his feet digging into the ground as he was shoved away, leaving shattered paving stones in his wake. Liu Yi changed his weapon from a sword to a gun. Attack power increased to 1,350,600. He held the claw tightly with his left hand. He raised his right hand. Before the monster could launch a second attack, he pulled the trigger. Bang! The shot pierced through the monster. The force of the attack went through it and hit the wall behind, causing it to crumble continuously. The lifeless monster slowly fell. Its massive body created a huge tremor as it crashed down. Rumble, dirt and fine dust flew everywhere. Liu Yi stood proudly on the vulture's corpse. Its body gradually vanished like an illusion. The New Order Guild leader watched the shocking scene, only able to exclaim, "What the hell? Is this the power of a support class?" The system announced, "Stasis state has ended. Blessing has 50 seconds remaining." Without waiting for the monster's corpse to completely disappear, Liu Yi immediately rushed towards the New Order Guild leader. He just stood there, stunned, not knowing what Liu Yi wanted to do. He just leaned close to his ear and said 2 words, "Let's go." He snapped out of it. There were still many monsters in the distance. The guild leader, his resolve firm, sobered up and ran after him, saying, "Together!" at some secret realm entrance in the out-of-control zone. Outside the ruined building was a huge, brightly lit entrance. Inside a dilapidated, crumbling room, the group of players had arrived. Someone said worriedly, "I wonder how the guild leader is doing." Someone sighed and added, "I don't even dare to send a message, afraid it might distract him." Another person agreed, "Me too." Wuji looked at everyone and said, "How about we go back and try to conquer it next time? In that situation, how could any player possibly survive?" The guy with the ponytail disagreed, frowning as he retorted, "The guild leader and Ye aren't dead yet." Wuji didn't think so. In his heart, he was sure those two had been killed by monsters. He spoke sarcastically, trying to sow discord. "Their health bars haven't dropped, but they most likely used some kind of emergency skill. To lock it temporarily, that's all. And that Ye guy? I don't know how he managed to attract so many monsters to swarm and kill him like that. What a useless teammate." A team member who looked like a tank, with a shield on his back, had a sour expression, crossing his arms in anger. The one with the headband looked at the control panel and hurriedly announced, "The guild leader and Ye are showing up on the map! They're outside the safe house!" Wuji was stunned to hear it. "What?" The other team members were overjoyed, their faces beaming. He quickly shouted, "They didn't lure the monsters here, did they? Stay on guard!" The door opened. Everyone was a bit wary, their hands on their weapons in case of trouble, staring intently at the door. No way! There's no sound of a huge commotion. It was the two of them, the guild leader and Liu Yi. Everyone cheered happily. "Guild leader!" Wuji was completely surprised, unable to believe his eyes. They actually made it back? Damn, that New Order Guild leader is too much. Seeing the two of them return safely, everyone was ecstatic, praising the guild leader. "You're amazing, sir. To be able to bring someone back from that situation, you're incredible. Truly worthy of being our leader." Yeah. The guild leader glanced over at Liu Yi. Seeing him avoid his gaze, he knew that he didn't want to reveal any information. Liu Yi quietly found a place to sit, and the guild leader sat down as well. Not wanting to go into detail, he just gave a brief summary. "Don't make a big deal out of it. It's nothing. Let's rest for 10 minutes, then we'll raid the secret realm in this safe house." The two sat facing each other, but the others didn't notice anything strange about Lu Nyat. They just joyfully followed the guildmaster's instructions, shouting in unison, "Yes, sir!" Vokuk glanced over at Lu Nyat. Seeing him back safe, just sitting there dazedly, he cautiously approached. "Hey, Da. How did you guys manage to escape? Tell me, it must have been exciting." Lu Nyat coldly turned to look at him, recalling the system notification. "Blessing effective. Abnormal immobility has been dispelled. Mark has been dispelled." He gave a mysterious smile and asked him a question that made Vokuk jump. "That was you just now, wasn't it?" Vokuk quickly denied it, waving his hands and forcing a laugh. What are you talking about?" How could I possibly have such an incredible skill? No way, you're overestimating me. Lu Nut wasn't falling for his little act. He continued his cold analysis. Perhaps you haven't learned Blessing yet, so you don't know that it can dispel any negative status effect, including the mark you placed on me. Vokuk listened in horror, his eyes widening as he stared at him. Lu Nut continued with complete confidence, and Mark is a level 40 support skill. In this team, besides me, you're the only one who could have it. Lu Nut continued, his empty hand suddenly producing a handgun from thin air. To be honest, ever since we entered this room, I've been wondering whether or not I should take care of you. He slowly stood up, still speaking deliberately. In a situation like this, hesitation just proves how much you truly desire it. Lu Nut stood tall, aiming the gun at Vokuk. He slowly enunciated each word, looking just like a villain from a novel. He said, "And if you desire it, then you should just satisfy yourself." Vokuk stood frozen, staring down the barrel of the gun. His expression was unreadable. Suddenly he shouted, trying to reason with Lu Nut, drawing everyone's attention to them. "We're teammates, not enemies. You want to kill me?" Hearing the commotion, the other players all turned to look. Vokuk looked as if he was sure he had already won. His face was full of smugness and provocation because he was thinking, this idiot is brandishing a firearm, threatening to kill me? What a joke. But this is good. I can use this to isolate him from the team. And as for that thing you were talking about, that level 42 support skill, who here knows about it? Who can prove it? Even if you've learned it too and demonstrate it, what's to stop me from saying it's all a self-inflicted plot you orchestrated yourself? The guy with the ponytail saw Lu Nut pointing the gun at Vokuk, and not understanding what was going on, frowned. "Da, what are you doing?" The guildmaster sat silently opposite Lu Nut, indifferent to what others were thinking. He kept the gun aimed at Vokuk, a pleased smile on his face. Vokuk had no idea that Lu Nut was not someone to be trifled with. He continued to play the righteous victim, puffing out his chest as he spoke. "I just asked one question. How did he manage to kill all those monsters? Fine, he didn't have to answer, but he pulled a gun on me." Vokuk even tried to drag the New Order guildmaster into it. He looked at him and said, "Guildmaster, you be the judge. Is this how a teammate should act?" The guildmaster remained silent, his thoughts unreadable. Vokuk looked like a clown performing a monologue, talking non-stop without letting anyone else get a word in. He said in a strange, passive-aggressive tone, "Let me guess, Lu Nut. You're a support class, and so am I. That's why you want to kill me. If you kill me, you'll be the only support class left. At that point, whatever conditions you demand, the guildmaster will have to agree so we can raid the unstable zone's secret realm." Lu Nut let him talk, his hand still steady on the gun. Vokuk continued his one-man show, pointing at him. "Wow, such a deep scheme. Look, everyone, what kind of scum is this? Does he even deserve to be on this team?" Lu Nut was silent, just quietly watching the clown's performance. The New Order guildmaster sat between the two of them. Vokuk feigned a fearful step back and said, "Guildmaster, while we're still not too deep into the unstable zone, let's switch out this team member quickly. Keeping someone like this around is just too dangerous." The ponytail guy couldn't stand this farce anymore. "Whatever grudge you two have, settle it yourselves after we get back. Why are you causing a scene now?" Just then, the guildmaster finally stood up, apparently having decided how to handle it. He walked over and placed a hand on the ponytail guy's shoulder, as if to say it was okay. He said, "The thing Da pulled out is a firearm, not the daggers he's used to. He has no real intention of killing him. He's showing us respect by letting us handle this ourselves." Vokuk's expression changed drastically. He stared at the guildmaster, feeling that things were not going according to his plan. "What is this?" The New Order guildmaster's attitude is not right. The guildmaster walked closer to Lu Nut and placed a hand on the gun, signaling for him to lower it. The two of them stood on the same side, facing Vokuk together. The guildmaster continued, "On the contrary, why do you keep trying to drive a wedge between me and Da?" In an instant, the guildmaster lunged at Vokuk, grabbing him tightly by the neck, his eyes as cold as if he were looking at a dead thing. Vokuk was still trying to argue, not admitting anything. His face had changed color as he struggled to get the words out. "Guildmaster, what are you doing?" Inside, he was terrified. Just how high is his strength stat? How can he be this strong? The New Order guildmaster was acting as if he were protecting one of his own. He said coldly, "I have great faith in Da, a level of trust far deeper than you can imagine. Vo Cook grabbed the guildmaster's wrist, terrified he would be crushed to death in the next second. He was still trying to argue, slinging mud at Lu Nut.
Guildmaster, you can't just ignore what's right. It was
Who came after me? It wasn't me who tried to go after him. The guildmaster's hand was slowly turning red. He didn't believe a word Vo Cook had just said and replied, "But I believe he has his reasons for doing this. I'm certain that with his strength he would never resort to this against a teammate without a very good reason." After saying this, the guildmaster's entire body also, a sea of red, like endless blood, spread everywhere. Only then did Wuzi realize his calculations were completely wrong. The guildmaster grabbed him by the neck, lifting him up like a chicken as he screamed, "No, guildmaster, you can't just blindly trust him like this. I'm not wrong. I didn't do anything. You're trying to frame me." The red substance enveloping the guildmaster's body was called blood shadow body armor. It was exploding outward like a viscous fluid. It has the ability to transform into blood and envelop a target. While enveloped, the target's blood volume decreases along with the user's. The user can expend mental energy to reduce the rate of blood loss. While trapped inside the blood, the target cannot use any skills. The daily usage time is 2 minutes. Uzi, oblivious to his impending doom, heard the New Order's guildmaster continue to speak. "I've made my decision. Even if it's wrong, I'll see it through." Wu Ji was completely enveloped by the blood. He was trapped inside it, as if in a vacuum-sealed glass cage. The air was sucked out and he couldn't breathe. What kind of demonic skill is this? Liu Yi watched him slowly die as a notification panel appeared, showing his health bar decreasing. Team member, Uzi, level 45. Health bar, 4/5 remaining. He struggled within the blood cocoon, trying to use his life force recovery skill, but it was useless. What's going on? Why can't I use my skills? His health bar dropped to 1/3. Even knowing it was impossible, he frantically tried to use life force recovery. Heal me! His health bar was now just a tiny red dot. He staggered towards Liu Yi, one hand clutching his own throat while the other reached forward. But before he could make it, death came for him. His face was contorted in agony as his knees buckled, and he collapsed to the ground as if bowing in supplication before Liu Yi. He knelt there, completely devoid of life. Then his body vanished, and the blood cocoon dissipated with it. Only Liu Yi and the guildmaster remained. The guildmaster looked at him and said politely, "Thank you," before returning to his seat. The guildmaster smiled back, recalling how Liu Yi had wiped out a horde of monsters with a single sword strike. Liu Yi broke into a cold sweat and looked away, thinking, "If I hadn't done that, I was afraid you would have killed all of us." The cooldown for Liu Yi's stasis state was 24 hours. In the ruined room, the guildmaster said to Liu Yi, "Are you interested in joining the New Order? I'll give you the highest possible treatment, that of a special grade member of the New Order." Liu Yi sat calmly on a slab of concrete, listening as the New Order's guildmaster asked, "Are you interested in joining the New Order? I'll give you the highest treatment of a special member of the New Order." He confidently made his offer to Liu Yi, adding, "Killing Wu Zi today can be considered my apology to you. I know you had a minor conflict with some of our low-level members before." He stood opposite Liu Yi, saying, "But as long as we cooperate, we can let all those unpleasantries go." The other team members who heard this were completely shocked. "The guildmaster is personally inviting someone to join our New Order? This has never happened before," another said. "And he's directly offering him the treatment of a special member." The people standing nearby agreed with this assessment. "Yeah, that's right. Every one of us in the New Order had to go through layers of selection to finally join." Some also grumbled resentfully, "What's so special about him that the guildmaster wants to recruit him?" Liu Yi ignored the surrounding chatter and coldly asked the New Order's guildmaster, "What do I have to give in return?" This question was enough to startle the guildmaster with its cautiousness. Someone else, not understanding the deeper meaning, said, "What's with this situation? Shouldn't he be asking about the benefits first?" Liu Yi explained his previous question. "Joining a guild can't just be about enjoying the benefits." He said, "Tell me the price first. If I can accept it, I'll join." The guildmaster's polite expression vanished. He smiled, surprised by Liu Yi's intelligence, and answered his questions. "If I said there was no price, you certainly wouldn't believe me." He raised his hand and rubbed his fingertips together, saying, "And even if you did believe me, if I really wanted you to give something up later, You definitely wouldn't agree. So, the New Order's guildmaster, like a multi-level marketer luring his prey, declared, "The price is that when the guild needs you, I hope you can give up everything in the game, including your unlimited level and equipment. But afterward, you will definitely be handsomely compensated." Liu Yi frowned and coldly revealed a crucial piece of information. The power struggle in the out-of-control secret realm will ultimately end in a no-win scenario. The moment he said this, everyone looked at him with wary vigilance. The New Order's guildmaster saw that saying more wouldn't salvage the situation. So he just scratched his head and replied with a friendly smile, "No, I was just giving an example in case a situation like that were to happen." Liu Yi clasped his hands together, resting his chin on them. "No matter how many promises you make, they're still just promises. I'm afraid I have to refuse." Although he had anticipated this answer, the guildmaster was still a little disappointed. The New Order's guildmaster looked at him. Liu Yi continued, "However, we can cooperate, but I will absolutely not give up my level and equipment. I certainly won't gamble it on whether you all will keep your promise after everything is over." These words were no different from a slap in the face to the members of the New Order. They became agitated, saying, "How ungrateful. He probably doesn't know what the treatment for a special member is, not to mention other things. Just the basic annual salary is over 2 million, and the price is just to temporarily give up his level and equipment in the game. Is he an idiot or just naive?" The New Order's guildmaster paid no attention to what his members were saying. He also sat down on a concrete slab opposite Liu Yi. "Is that so? What a shame. But being able to cooperate isn't so bad." Liu Yi smiled and replied, "Thank you for understanding." The New Order's guildmaster smiled back. The two of them maintained a peaceful and polite facade as Liu Yi became lost in his own thoughts. If it weren't for the pressure from his past life, if he didn't know that levels and equipment in the primal world were linked to future survival. He stared intently at the guildmaster sitting opposite him. He thought that with his current strength and a personal invitation from the guildmaster himself, joining the New Order now would be a very good choice. Liu Yi's expression darkened slightly. What a pity. But just a moment later, he changed his mind. With a slight smirk, he thought, "There's nothing to regret. Strength is the foundation of everything. The New Order's guild leader recruited me and invited me to join the New Order, all because he saw my strength." Liu Yi thought with full confidence, "As long as I keep getting stronger, as long as I don't die, more and more people will want to recruit me." On the other side, the New Order's guild leader, he was reading a message from Bai Shou. "So lucky. The first special instance I entered in the uncontrolled zone was a special one with my 10% computational power authority. I've arrived." Below were congratulatory messages, but the earliest message that popped up changed the whole situation. Bai Shou had texted, "Oh my god, I give up. One of the conditions for a perfect clear of this special instance is that it's a dead end. And more importantly, not only did I fail to clear it, but everyone I brought with me died. I don't know how long it'll take to gather more people." Below that was a message from Xuanshou offering condolences. After reading the messages, the New Order's guild leader felt a headache coming on. This is a tough problem. He realized this and looked towards Liu Yi. Sure enough, one of the conditions could be a dead end. The initial step of recruiting Ye has already hit a snag. The New Order's guild leader considered it seriously. But Ye's ability would be a huge help in defeating them. I have to seize this opportunity. In the chat, the various parties were still reporting their progress. Xuanshou had the most recent update. King Shou had 50% computational power authority. Bai Shou suggested going through the dangerous zone and the chaotic zone, because it's only 10%. But Qing Shou didn't want to, because the reward was too low. For a perfect clear of a special instance in the uncontrolled zone, you could get 10% at once, while the other two zones only gave 1% per run, especially since the difficulty was the same. The New Order's guild leader finished reading the messages. His expression grew more serious than ever. He began to consider whether or not to kill Liu Yi, just in case. Roulé is still the most suitable person to deal with other players. If a dead-end situation really occurs, and Ye still chooses to refuse in the end, at that point, Roulé will coordinate with me to take care of Ye at the last minute. He stared straight ahead. I hope it doesn't come to that. He listed the observations he had gathered. The main tank is meat-loving shield. The support tank is the headband that doesn't fly, the small fist that doesn't punch. The New Order's guild leader was fuming. For the crowd control support. The guy with 2 swords is the attack support. Dual blades slashes monsters without breaking a sweat. Flowing hair is Truth. The one with the ponytail swinging his sword at the monster is the pure warrior, anonymous enlightened warrior. The original monster-slaying market. Everyone in the team played an indispensable role. Right now, the team was fighting a monster that looked like a cross between a lion and a water buffalo. It had 2 extremely sturdy horns. The mane around its head was like a lion's, but black. Its mouth gaped open like a hippo's, roaring at the humans trying to attack it. With the team's coordination, clearing a level 50-plus instance took only 4 hours on average. And as the team ventured deeper into the uncontrolled zone, the number of instances they could clear grew. Finally, on the 4th day after the team cleared their 12th instance, I've reached level 50. Player Liu Yi, username Yi, has reached level 50. The level 50 skill branch has been unlocked. The unlocked level 50 skills are Cooldown Overlap and Scan. Cooldown Overlap instantly puts all of the target's skills on cooldown. No cost. 12-hour cooldown. Scan generates a real-time map within 1,000 meters, detecting resources. For every 10 levels gained, the scan range increases by 100 meters. On the 3rd day after Liu Yi reached level 50, which was also the 6th day in the uncontrolled zone, the team finally found the New Order Guild leader's objective. He stood before an entrance that glowed like a ruby. It was the special instance of the uncontrolled zone. At the same time, the 10th person chosen to fill the empty spot in the team after Uzi's death had also been added. Before this, the New Order's guild leader had pulled an unimportant member from the New Order to temporarily fill the spot. His feet glided through the air, then one foot stomped hard on the floor, launching him high up. He flew up more than 10 floors before landing in front of the special instance entrance. When everyone saw him, they shouted, "Captain!" The replacement member is Rulei Dengchang, level 56. The team members greeted him enthusiastically. "Captain, you're here!" Rulei smirked, gave a thumbs down, and joked, "I finally made it onto the team. You bunch of weaklings. I told you, you can't live without me." The other 3 guys' faces fell at being insulted. He continued, "Ha, guild leader, that includes you." Seeing the guild leader look at him, Rulei immediately backed off. He waved his hands dismissively. "Ah, no, that doesn't include you. I misspoke. The guild leader just stared at him silently. Liu Yi watched this scene, his mind recalling Rulei. So he's Rulei Dengchang. In my past life, when the origin world descended, he was the 5th-ranked master. I defeated the true forms of those 2 apparitions. I wonder how much stronger I am compared to Rulei Dengchang's true form. At that moment, Rulei had also noticed Liu Yi. He walked over to Liu Yi and asked, "So you're Ye?" He was a whole head taller, and his words were pure trash talk. Rulei Dengchang said, "The guild leader told me you're pretty strong. You might even be able to touch my toes." As soon as he said that, it drew quite a few glares from the other members in their direction. Liu Yi's expression didn't change as he thought coldly, "Just touch your toes, huh?" His brows furrowed so tightly it looked like he could crush a fly between them. Now was not the time to unleash his anger. He thought, normally, when you crush someone, you really can press down on their toes. I hope I don't get the chance to crush you. The New Order's guild leader shouted, "Rulei, that's enough, yeah!" Sorry about that. Rulei's mouth is a bit foul, but his heart's in the right place. Rulei Dengchang said with extreme arrogance, "Guild leader, a support member whose combat power can reach my toes. Are you praising him or what?" The captain, not wanting to hear his nonsense, pointed and ordered the other team members, "Drag him into the special instance first for me." Everyone immediately complied, saying, Yes, Captain. Your strength is unparalleled. We're going into the instance first, so you have to perform well. Don't let your words become empty boasts." Lei Dengchang was then pushed and shoved into the entrance by the others. He said smugly, "Of course, I'm not like you guys. Don't pull me, I'll walk in myself." The guildmaster watched the group enter the special instance, scratching his head and thinking, "Why did I choose someone like that to be one of the guild's representatives?" He looked around the entrance, deep in thought. A special instance in the uncontrolled zone, and it directly changes its display color through the special instance to show the difficulty of the raid. Then he let out a soft sigh of relief and turned to speak with Liu Yi. "My biggest goal for coming to the uncontrolled zone is to clear this special instance. I promise you, as long as you follow my requests, after we clear this special instance, no matter what, the New Order will owe you a favor." Liu Yi was a little surprised by these words. His request. What does the Guildmaster of the New Order want to get from the special instance in the uncontrolled zone? The Guildmaster gave Liu Yi a serious look. Full of determination, he then stepped through the entrance. Let's go. Liu Yi was the last one to enter the special instance, his mind filled with thoughts. To be honest, I never had any contact with him in my past life. I don't know what kind of person the Guildmaster of the New Order is. He recalled what he had heard about him. It's just that, being a low-level member of the New Order, I heard from other low-level members that the Guildmaster of the New Order is an extremely cruel and demonic person who disregards human life. Liu Yi lowered his head and walked on. But after interacting with him these past few days, the feeling he gives off makes me think he would be a very good friend. He gradually approached the instance entrance. A friend? How can that be? Only people with shared interests can become friends. I'm just getting a small taste of success from this raid party. That's why I'm having such thoughts. If our interests conflict, except for my little sister, everyone else is an enemy. So, I must always stay vigilant. His figure slowly sank into the entrance and disappeared as he reminded himself, once your interests conflict with those of the New Order, you and they could become enemies. When that time comes, the only thing you can do is try your best to survive. Figure out a way to keep on living. After that, the door to the instance entrance vanished. The figures of two people appeared, seemingly in conversation. The cultivation was a success. Excellent. It seemed to be in some kind of research institute. Researchers in white coats stood outside a glass door saying, computational power is truly omnipotent. It can even cultivate mythical creatures. The lines of dialogue came one after another, making it unclear what was happening on-site or what the story was about. A white-haired man said, "It's gotten so big in the blink of an eye. Has it been brainwashed?" "I'm sorry, Director, we've tried everything, but it's just getting more and more irritable. Nothing's had any effect." The Director wanted to scold his researchers. What a bunch of... But before he could finish, he saw something unexpected.
What is it trying to do?
Trying to... Danger! The glass shattered into pieces. A monster with something like a rough, horned hide appeared. In the reflection, a person who had been knocked down was trying to hold on to the control panel. "No! I can't let it escape!" His eyes widened. "I have to take care of it." With that, he slammed his hand down on a red button. The scene cuts there. Far from the instance entrance was a majestic mountain. Everyone had made it through the instance. Liu Yi was silent because he had also just seen those images. He wondered to himself, a cutscene to clear the stage? So this is a special instance. The Guildmaster was also cautiously looking around. The system panel notification appeared. Instance mission generated. Entrance 02 closed. Instance mission, out-of-control research product. Mission content. Escort the Nether Serpent's life source to the Prehistoric Creature Cultivation Center. Research Facility Number 304. Incubate the Nether Serpent. Attention! The glass vial containing the essence cannot be placed in your bag and is bound to the player's life force. If the vial breaks, the person dies. It was a vial containing an orange liquid. This vial gradually appeared in front of everyone's chest. The Guildmaster grabbed it, thinking, everyone has one, so the perfect clear condition is for the entire team to reach the cultivation center unharmed. He let out a soft sigh of relief. Thank goodness it's not a dead-end situation. On Liu Yi's side, he was scrutinizing the vial in his hand, recalling, so far of the instances I've participated in, 2 have had cutscenes. Could it be that the instance Wei Si and I went to was also a special instance? The group was still curiously examining the vials in their hands, not yet realizing that a giant serpent was above their heads. Its body was covered in sharp spines, and its crimson eyes were staring at them as if they were prey. Only then did the team notice the monster. The Guildmaster immediately ordered, "Formation!" But the monster just needed to let out a single roar to cause a massive shockwave. 3 vials were dropped by people who couldn't hold on. Affected by the roar, they clutched their heads and couldn't hold the vials. Instantly, those 3 people vanished without a trace. The system announced, "Your friend, Shield Loves Meat, has died. Your friend, Curly Hair is Justice, has died. Your friend, Nameless Root is a monster, has died." The Guildmaster of the New Order was shocked. That's 3 vials destroyed already. The system displayed a warning. You have detected an illusory sound attack. Nether Serpent's deceitful force. Comparison pending. You have resisted the illusory sound attack. Nether Serpent's Deceit. Liu Yi was in a battle-ready stance. Suddenly a voice rang out. "Watch closely, you lackeys!" Lei Danchang charged aggressively towards the Nether Serpent and shouted, "Watch how I'll take care of it and avenge Curly Hair and the others." Suddenly, a powerful force struck the ground, sending shattered pieces of earth flying everywhere. Everyone on the team was shocked. One member raised his voice and pleaded, "Captain, calm down a bit. We've already lost 3 people. We can't afford to lose you too." He ran quickly towards the Nether Serpent and declared loudly, "You little worm! This old man is going to chop you up, cook you, and turn you into shit." After saying that, he struck it with a powerful slash. The Nether Serpent's expression didn't change at all after taking the hit. There was no damage. He was shocked to see it was completely unharmed. "What the—" The Nether Serpent opened its mouth wide, revealing 2 long fangs, as if it was about to swallow Captain Roulet. He was too terrified to react. In the end, he was swallowed whole by the Nether Serpent. Seeing this, his teammates screamed, "Captain!" Both of them stood there, mouths agape, as they watched him get devoured. One of them cried out in horror, "Oh God! I knew this would happen!" Then, the Nether Serpent moved in another direction. Everyone stood still, watching. One person spoke up, "What do we do now? We just entered the secret realm and we've already lost 4 people." At this moment, in a dense forest, his figure was moving stealthily when suddenly, 3 vials fell to the ground at once. The essences from the 3 vials flew up and merged into one. After that, the essences from each person on the team also merged. The essence in the other person's hand began to move. The essence in the vial slowly changed from yellow to orange. Finally, it turned red. Blazing Aura stared intently at the vial, thinking, could it be? The condition for perfect power isn't for all members to reach the research facility, but for 10 parts of the essence to become one? Liu Yi looked at the essence, thinking, if that secret realm is also a special one. Then he fell into deep thought, asking himself a question. So the thing that Blazing Aura is so obsessed with, could it be the uncontrollable perfect power special secret realm? Suddenly, a system notification appeared. Congratulations, player. You have achieved perfect power. The puppet game secret realm has been purified. Reward, 1% authority over computing power. He looked at the system notification and guessed, the captain is probably inside that monster's stomach right now. Frosthead suddenly spoke up. We have to figure out a way to save the captain. Then someone else asked, how do we save him? By chasing after that monster. Just then, a voice rang out. Guild leader! He cut everyone off. Enough talk. If he didn't die in the first few moments, Blazing Aura said gravely to everyone, then he can definitely survive inside that monster. Then he seriously reminded everyone, the most important thing for us right now is to get to the location to complete the mission. As soon as he finished speaking, Liu Yi snapped back to reality, focusing on the task at hand. He was silent for a moment, then said, it's that skill. At that moment, the whole team started running forward at full speed. One person said, listen to the guild leader, let's go! As he moved, he thought about how to deal with it. Based on the information from the film, we have to defeat the pseudo-nether serpent. According to the method, if it's not about getting 10 complete parts of essence to the destination, then maybe it's about merging the essence we have in our hands, then cultivating a stronger monster to defeat the pseudo-nether serpent. He and the entire team ran at full speed toward the location. Mission. Then he thought of another possibility. Assuming that monster can't be defeated with a normal strategy, this might be the answer. I have to find a way to test it, to see if that monster can be defeated. 20 minutes had passed since everyone arrived at the location to find the nether serpent. Just then he looked at the map and exclaimed, Captain Roulet is approaching us fast, unbelievably fast. His words immediately caught Liu Yi's attention. Suddenly, Frosthead blurted out, that's not the captain. It's the monster that swallowed the captain and it's getting closer. All of a sudden, a voice shouted, Guild leader, be careful! Out of nowhere, the nether serpent lunged forward, opening its mouth wide to swallow Blazing Aura. He quickly dodged and simultaneously unleashed his Blood Shadow Body skill, delivering a slash across it. Then he shouted, watch the formation! Let's try to take it down! Secretly signal him to attack from the inside! Suddenly, the nether serpent whipped its head around. The entire team raised their weapons and attacked. Just then, someone shouted, yes, sir! At that moment, he relentlessly slashed at the nether serpent. Another guy used both hands to increase his damage, while someone else channeled a powerful force into their hand and struck with incredible intensity. Suddenly, The nether serpent coiled its tail high into the air and then slammed it down. They were all sent flying, unable to withstand its power. Just then, Frosthead, wielding a weapon with a chain, struck the nether serpent's nose. After that, he moved away to lure it. As he ran, he glanced back. Suddenly, blazing aura charged from the opposite direction, running towards the nether serpent. At that moment, it opened its mouth and let out an unbearable, ear-splitting sound. The vial containing the essence immediately started to crack. Hearing the sound, he looked down at his vial. Finally, it fell and shattered into tiny pieces. The system interface appeared around him. Seeing this, everyone cried out in alarm, "Frosthead!" Blazing aura quickly looked towards him, and Liu Yi's gaze followed. Frosthead's image gradually faded before everyone's eyes. At the same time, a voice called out, "Guild leader, Captain Roulette just sent a message. He says the monster's defense is terrifying. He can't break through from the inside at all." The nether serpent turned its head back to face blazing aura. Both of them radiated an intense power. He looked up, feeling a bit uneasy, and thought to himself, It's too big. Under these conditions, we have the essence vial, but we can't put it in our bags. To kill us, all it has to do is use sound waves to shatter our vials. Our survival hangs by a thread." Liu Yi broke out in a cold sweat and said, "You've got to be kidding me. We just entered the secret realm and we're about to get wiped out?" Just then, the nether serpent suddenly changed direction. Its massive body slithered past everyone. Seeing this, he asked in confusion, "It's leaving? Why did it stop attacking us?" Suddenly, in midair, the essences appeared. The essences from everyone's vials merged into one. They then formed a single vial containing a brilliant red essence. He held the vial in his hand and thought, "So it seems this monster wasn't meant for us to fight at all." He suddenly had a guess. At that moment, Liu Yi glanced down at the vial and thought, if Blazing Aura's real goal is the uncontrollable perfect power special secret realm, then in a situation where the nether serpent can't be defeated, what is the way to achieve perfect power? To merge the small essence vials that each person carries? He suddenly raised his voice and said sternly to everyone, "Forget it! It's a good thing we're away from the nether serpent. The most important thing now is to hurry to the research facility and complete the mission." Suddenly, someone shouted, "Yes, sir!" Time passed slowly. 20 minutes later, at the facility, there was a large hole. Everyone was running at top speed. He looked at the map and said, "Guild leader, it's coming again!" Hot Air, who was fuming, went quiet for a moment, then replied as dual blades shattered his bottle. He panicked, running while striking back, and looked over at him, shouting, "What the?" Then he seriously explained his solution. "Even with more people, we can't handle that monster's speed. This is the way to lure it away. We just need to lure it away one more time and we'll be at the Research Institute." As soon as the words were spoken, Dual Blades personally smashed the bottle on the ground. The system displayed a notification. "Member of the Slay Monsters Without Breaking a Sweat squad, Dual Blades has died." At that moment, the Minsha began to move in a different direction. The other guy exclaimed joyfully, "It's really leaving!" Then another guy praised, "Our guild leader is brilliant!" He replied, "Speaking of which, we should also thank the captain for allowing us to observe the monster's movements." He looked back at this map, his expression suggesting everything was going according to plan, and thought, "As I expected." He silently mused, "I already gave my answer, refusing to give up my equipment and level like that. If Hot Air thinks the perfect strategy for this secret dungeon is a pure fusion," he thought, rushing back to the facility while guessing the Minsha's destination, "then he'll definitely make a move on me. And the best place to do that is inside the research facility. It's a small, enclosed space, easy for an ambush." Then Hot Air ran up from behind and said, "Let's go! The research facility is right ahead." In the distance, 4 figures were approaching the facility. Everyone was running as fast as they could. Suddenly, a pair of feet stopped, and a voice echoed in his mind, "I can't let myself get into a situation like that." Then he immediately stopped running. Seeing this, everyone looked back at him. The 3 of them were already on the steps. One of them turned and said to him, "Da, what's wrong? Hurry up and follow us." Lunat, standing below, started to speak, then paused mid-sentence. "Guild leader, your goal is the perfect clear for this secret dungeon, isn't it? If that's the case..." He turned his face to listen as he continued, "Can you tell me what this perfect strategy you believe in is?" At that moment, all 4 of them fell silent, thinking. He suddenly hesitated. "Should I expose them and make the first move to take them out? Suddenly, the system displayed a dual-channel message. New Loy has appeared. Ah, you're finally out. Oh, I'm so dead. Just then, the New Order's guild leader slowly walked down the steps and said, I think you've misunderstood. The difficulty of this secret dungeon is too high. I'm not prepared for a perfect clear. I just hope to complete the mission and escape. Next to him, two faces showed clear dissatisfaction. He continued, If you don't believe me, you can wait outside. The three of us will go complete the mission. I just don't know what dangers lie within the research facility. As for your safety, maybe next time that monster will find and attack you first. He remained silent with nothing left to say. The other man spoke up angrily, questioning him. Da, what's wrong with you? You think the captain is going to harm you? Are you kidding me? The New Order Guild is this big, and you think we'd take advantage of you? Another guy agreed with that statement and added, That's right, we've been cooperating for so long. You don't even have a little bit of trust? Do you think you're worthy of the guild leader's personal invitation? He remained silent, wondering whether to act or not. On the map, the dots clustered together were the four of them. Far away was the Min Sha. He silently calculated, at New Loy's speed it will take him about 10 minutes to get here. And that monster attacks roughly every 20 minutes, which means it will attack our team in about 13 minutes. He stood still, thinking of a plan. If I'm really going to turn on them, it has to be before New Loy joins up with the New Order's guild leader. At that moment, a voice laced with contempt cut through his thoughts. I won't force you. We're going to complete the mission. He then spat at Lunyat with malice. You piece of trash. Useless when it counts. The man across from him looked at the New Order's guild leader and said, It's a good thing you're not in the New Order. At that moment, he raised his sword-wielding hand, thinking, The duration of time freeze is only 10 seconds. The blessing's duration is only 60 seconds. With New Loy on his way, facing 4 powerful players at once, even using time freeze plus. The blessing, I'm not guaranteed to be able to handle them. He got into a stance, ready to act, his hand on his hilt. But is my judgment really correct? If I'm wrong, then I'll lose my friendship with the New Order. But if I'm right, if I don't act now, I'll lose everything I've worked for since I was reborn. The guild leader glanced over at him. Seeing him preparing to attack, he raised his voice. What do you think you're doing? You really want to fight? If it weren't for our long cooperation, you'd already be dead. Don't get yourself killed, I don't want to lift a finger. Then he dashed towards them at high speed, thinking, when you compare them, it's obvious who's more important. He then activated Time Freeze. Blessing! Full attribute enhancement! He leaped, closing the distance in the blink of an eye. At that moment, he silently generated a red energy that enveloped his entire body. Blood Shadow Body! As he gradually vanished, the other guy shouted, This brat really dares to attack! Fighter, let's take him down together! But before he could finish, his body was split in two. He swung his sword, cleaving the man in half. The man's mouth hung open, his eyes rolled back as he stammered, How is this possible? The system announced, You have killed Little Fist that kills. Suddenly, someone else moved. Bumbling fighter, quick, attack! He created numerous clones that struck at him simultaneously. Wind Chi Flowing Shadow! Wind Chi Combo Strike! He focused his power, gripping his sword tightly as it transformed in an instant. He sliced him in two. The system chimed with a notification. You have killed Bumbling Fighter. On the map, only Hot Air Da and New Loy remained. He was now in a state of blazing fury. His eyes flashed red for a moment. He was alone, but then a nearby wall collapsed from a powerful force, small pieces crumbling down. System update, Blazing Captain, level 56. Liu Yi stood on the collapsed wall, thinking, the map showed he was here. After I slashed through everything, I didn't even manage to hurt him at all. What kind of skill is this? The map showed New Loy approaching the two of them at high speed. System notification. Stasis state has ended. He stood outside the shattered wall as the dust and smoke cleared. He raised his voice. Leader of the New Order, are you just a coward who only knows how to hide? There was a moment of silence, no reply. System notification, all attribute enhancement blessing has ended. He continued to taunt. Careful now. Once you get used to hiding in your shell like a turtle, you'll never be able to stick your head out again. On the map, New Loy was close to them. Just then, a figure screeched to a halt right outside the door. He turned to look towards the person outside. Suddenly, the surging heat changed direction towards New Loy. Every movement was displayed on the map with square grid lines surrounding the red orb. Surging heat began to emanate from the orb. He spoke, "How decisive?" He continued, "But you've already used up your trump card when you killed the Gudiao, and the price was only 2 people." The man said nothing, just looked at them. Then, the speaker gave a smug smile, his voice filled with contempt. "Next, all that's left is to take care of you." Nuloi drew his sword. Both of them shouted and charged at him in unison, blades aimed forward. His eyes watched them with a serious gaze. He spoke in a mocking tone. "With strength like this, you're not even worthy of the Guildmaster's caution. Have you gotten weaker, Guildmaster? Or have you all always been this weak?" He gritted his teeth in anger and replied, "Enough talk. Let's finish this opponent first." System. Consumed 2,000 psyche. Comprehensive enhancement 1,000. In a flash, he was already there, swinging his sword at the first man. The man was stunned by his action. The other one looked pleased and said, "Now this is more like it." An urgent voice rang out, "Nuloi, use your blade now!" Then, he quickly used his own weapon to block Liu Yi's attack, saying excitedly, "Bring it on! This is the blade I've been charging with explosive power since the beginning." He laughed, proud of his weapon, and said contemptuously, "You should feel honored to be killed by it." System display. Momentum charge. Infuse psyche into weapon. Momentum charge enhances the weapon, granting attack power and speed for the next attack. Non-combat state. For every 1 point of psyche infused, gain 5 attack points and 5 speed points. Combat state. For every 1 point of psyche infused, gain 50 attack points and 50 speed points. Tough, aren't we? Just wait until I reset the stasis state. System display. Resetting all skills. Instant cooldown termination. No cooldown time consumption. 12-hour skill. Stasis. State. Locks target's health. No psyche consumption. For every 10 levels, the duration of the target's full body lock state is increased by 1 second. During the lock period, the target cannot move. Cooldown, 24 hours. Suddenly, something flashed past him in the blink of an eye. He turned to look back at where it had been. There was a deep gash in the ground from the impact just now. Just then, a blade was pressed against his neck, stopping his movement. He gritted his teeth. Blessing. His eyes flashed as he frowned, subtly activating his ability. Attribute enhancement. Full conversion. System notification. Consumed 4,000 psyche. Comprehensive enhancement 2,000. The system then updated his current information. Player, yeah. Level 52. Titles. Turner of Tides, 70%. Weapon Master. Attributes. Attack and defense both over 13,000. Strength, agility, constitution, perception over 3,000. Intelligence over 4,000. Resistance over 1,000. Uncategorized. Attribute, none. HP, full. Psyche, near full. At that moment, a sword strike appeared as fast as lightning. Liu Yi held his swords to his neck. He wasn't panicked at all. He said calmly, "The Guildmaster was right. You really did have one last trump card."